Hey, you beautiful podcast listeners. Seriously, you folks are the best. We don't tell you that enough, but you are. And we couldn't do this without you, and we couldn't have a podcast if it weren't for our friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Right now, you can save up to $7,500 on a mini-split ductless system or a high-efficiency heat pump combo with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. I know those are some fancy terms, but what it really means is they're going to make sure you're comfortable in your own house. And get this, they even take care of that rebate paperwork for you. Visit standardheating.com to lock in your deal and enjoy the show. And seriously, you guys are the best.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show. 93.
Oh, Mardi Gras, you see a lot of boobies.
There were some girls up in a balcony. A chant goes up, show you. I joined the chant because I support the cause. The girls show them, we throw up some beads. I figure that's the end of the transaction. Turns out they reciprocate with a chant of their own. We want. Turns out I had some on me.
Show us your boobs!
Mardi Gras. God help us. It's effing Mardi Gras. Welcome to the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show. Get some. It's Mardi Gras, also known as Phat Tuesday, I believe.
It is, yes. I celebrated quite a few Phat Tuesdays.
Yeah,
back
you did.
In my day.
Yeah, you did.
Fourth floor Mall of America.
You were getting naked up there and whatnot on the fourth floor of the Mall of America back in the, how do they call it, the mid-'90s.
You were an outcast if you didn't.
You got naked. Everybody got naked.
I earned my beads those years.
Every time you guys tell stories about the fourth floor Mall of America back in the day, I get so jealous.
It was wild.
I know. I wish I could have been there.
People eschewed downtown Minneapolis and said, let's hang out fourth floor Mall of America.
Yeah, they did.
That's amazing.
And then for some reason, it went completely bankrupt or something. I don't know what happened.
That's ghost town up there now.
Downtown Minneapolis was pissed there for a couple of years because no one was going there to drink and fight. They were all doing it at the Mall of America. Cubby's right. And he got nude.
Wild times, Dana.
Just got a text message that says, I don't even know if this listener is aware of the fact that it's Mardi Gras or Phat Tuesday, but they just texted in, effing Tuesday, bitches, let's get this bread. So I don't even know. This guy's got an attitude on him already. I don't even think he's aware that it's Mardi Gras. He's just ready to go. Sure, I'll tell you what, if you want to be nuts to butts with overheated drunks and have 80% of your beer spilled on you as you try to walk down the street, get yourself a ticket to New Orleans and hit up Mardi Gras. If you want to wear your beer before you drink it, that's what I remember about full-blown, all-out Mardi Gras from the couple of trips that I made down there. Don't get me wrong, it's fun. But it's a little overwhelming. You squeeze yourself into a little bar and get a plastic, solo cup full of beer because you're going to walk around and have some fun. And before you get 10 steps away from that bar, some moron smashes into you and you end up pouring it all over yourself. You got to start all over again. It's fun, but
it doesn't look fun. I got to say, my experience is watching the Cops episodes where they're in Mardi Gras.
Oh,
Girls Gone Wild.
I was going to bring up Girls Gone Wild.
Girls Gone Wild? Were you saying that didn't look fun? The Girls Gone Wild?
It looked too wild.
Oh.
It should be
stressful.
We don't need to get that wild. And then also, I just imagine it's very odoriferous with international smells of different vomits and urines from around the world.
It
just looks like it smells bad.
It smells. It smells bad. You can take a squeege pretty much anywhere you want, Josh, though, because nobody knows the difference. It's a lot of people. When you hit the full-on, all-out, four-alarm Mardi Gras, it's a lot of people crammed into narrow streets. Mm-hmm. It's a beautiful scene down there, that Bourbon Street with all those old buildings and the cobblestone street. It's beautiful.
Is it busy year-round? Obviously, Mardi Gras would be quite a bit different.
No, it's not busy year-round.
It's not a huge tourist spot where it's always busy.
Well, it is a busy tourist spot. I've been there all different times a year, and it seems like the tourists, they save that trip for Mardi Gras because I've been down there in, October, February, whatever, and you've got all the elbow room you could possibly desire. I would still always call New Orleans a touristy spot, but no, it's not hell-raising and nuts to butts all year round. You can get down there, and you'd be surprised how easily you get in and out of every friggin' joint.
Yeah, I went once in September, and it was a lot of fun. Absolutely a lot of fun. For a bachelor party weekend, had a blast.
You had plenty of room down there,
exactly,
I would imagine.
Yeah. But it was nothing like, the clips you see of Girls Gone Wild or other Mardi Gras clips or anything like that. It was nothing like that. Still a blast, still a lot of tourists and a lot of fun, but nothing like I've seen the clips of Mardi Gras.
I would have loved to have been down there with you, Josh, when the Girls Gone Wild crew rounds the corner on Bourbon Street, right? And Josh says, "This is too wild now. Let's go back to the hotel. We'll order a pay-per-view movie. This is too wild."
Well, you know what? And maybe I was onto something when we learned more and more about the guy behind it, Joe Francis. Maybe I was right to stay away from that whole thing.
Yeah, that's true. That's a very good point.
Maybe we don't want to get into that.
No, I don't think we want to get into
okay.
Let's just say the word they used today is problematic.
Mm-hmm.
That's today's word for what he's been accused of.
Yeah.
Man. Somebody said boobs. Yeah, there's plenty of that. Full-on Mardi Gras. I mean, I even rode in the parades and that whole schmear. And that was, I thought I was going to die. I thought, this is it. I'm done. When you ride in those parades and the crowd, the surge of the crowd. I mean, they take it so seriously down there. The surge of the crowd, I thought, it's only going to take them minutes to realize that I'm not a local, that I'm an outsider, and they're going to pull me off of the float, and they're going to tear me limb from limb because I threw them the wrong beads. You better throw them the right beads.
I remember you telling me that. I didn't know there was different
levels
of beads.
Neither did I. Well,
people were that passionate about it.
They were. They gave me about a 20-second tutorial. I did not expect to be riding on a Mardi Gras float during full-blown Mardi Gras. But my wife at the time had connections down there. Her family knew people. Her family spent time in a town near New Orleans. They had connections. Next thing you know, she is dressed just ridiculously. It was like out of a Cinderella movie. The gown and she's wearing a crown and all this. She was one of the, I don't know the term. It's been many years and I probably didn't even know it when I was there. She was one of the princesses of Mardi Gras. Maybe you can look up. There's float after float of women dressed ridiculously with a staff and things like that, like you see on Game of Thrones.
That's awesome.
So she was selected to ride as this. Okay, great. Have fun. I'll be over here at the Hustler Club drinking beer. See you after the parade. And they said, no, you jump on with her and you can throw the beads. And I said, well, I don't know if I can. And next thing you know, I'm on the float. I didn't really I had no time to prepare for this. They gave me about a 20-second tutorial and said, okay, and they had mountains of beads on the float with us. And they said, okay, these are the ones everybody wants. These are, some want them, some don't, and these are garbage. They're pointing at these piles of beads. Make sure you distribute them evenly. Well, the crowd knew what was great and what was garbage. And so when I went, hey, everybody, yay, waving to the crowd, and threw them the garbage beads, they'd throw them right back into my teeth and say, F you got a big stack of the good ones right there, we'll kill you. And I thought, what am I doing here?
Why'd they even give you the crappy ones?
Because
gosh, that's
you gotta,
not, like, just give me the good ones.
Volume. For all the good, it was just, you'll see boobs and you'll drink. I got to warn you, if you go to New Orleans, you'll drink.
I wonder how the whole boob thing started. I mean, that's kind of what it's known for now. Or at least that's the joke. That and king cake. You hear a lot about king cake. Did you have any of that? I know you're a sweets guy.
Don't remember. If I probably did not, or else I likely would have remembered. King cake, yeah, I can't remember all the gimmick there. The boobs, where did it start? I have no idea. But that comic that you played there to start the show, didn't he make a joke about, the girls show boobs and sometimes the girls ask for dong? Isn't that what he was saying in that joke? Yeah, they'll ask you for dong, too. Mm-hmm.
Did you oblige?
I may or may not have given some dong.
I mean, it's only in the right.
I always tell folks that if they want the Mardi Gras vibe, get there ahead of the big final celebration. There are Mardi Gras parties days ahead of the final, and they're just as much fun and half the crowd. I love the time I spent in New Orleans. It's a great city, very friendly people, aside from the bloodthirsty derelicts that hide in the shadows, of course. Great food, and like I said, you can urinate anywhere.
Yeah, probably a decent place to be a pickpocket, especially this time of year. Fun fact about Dana, he carries beads with him wherever he goes. He has them in his anus.
Yeah, I had them hidden. They're not noticeable, but if you look far enough, you can find them.
No, there's a bulge. They are noticeable. Ask me about CrossFit. Jesus said that his work sent him to New Orleans for about a month 20 years ago. He said he got real sick of Bourbon Street after about day 3. I'm impressed that you made it 3 days.
Yeah, 48 to 72 is a perfect amount of time to spend in New Orleans.
Chipman Jesus said he used to go down to Mardi Gras all the time before the incident.
Oh, the incident.
Before the incident.
Yeah, the one time I was down there with a co-worker's wife.
Oh, wow.
Well, no, we didn't travel together. We just ended up. That was great, me and a friend and my co-worker's wife, right? And so we end up on Bourbon Street. And she's a pretty lady, so the crowd is chanting to her, "Show your boobs! Show your boobs!" Only they weren't saying boobs. And she turns to me and my buddy and says, "Okay, I'm going to give them what they want.
Yeah.
You guys, look away." Want to know something, Ashley?
Yeah.
I didn't look away.
No, why would you?
No, I did not look away.
There were boobs to be seen. You had to see them.
I was a young man.
I would have took a different approach. I would have looked away, but I would have tried to find like a store window or something where I could get a reflection, something like that.
Yeah.
Or pray somebody's wearing sunglasses at night.
Somebody's got a camera out.
You would have looked away. Of course, you're a polite guy. And then thank you very much, offended millennial Jesus. Yeah, the story about the jazz band yelling at each other. Oh, man. Me and a pal hung over to beat hell. Just to absolutely beat hell. Neither one of us could really eat. After a long night in New Orleans, we woke up in the hotel, just garbage, Couldn't even really eat. Let's just go to a bar as soon as we can and have 3-4 beers just to kill the pain. Mm-hmm. And so we did. And the thing about New Orleans is it can be 10:30 in the morning, and there's a band playing at a bar.
Yep.
So we heard a live band coming out of this joint when we walked in, both of us, again, walking garbage piles. And there's this 3-piece band playing in the bar. There's nobody in there. The 3 guys in the band, the bartender, and then me and my pal. And the band's doing like, boom, doom, doom, doo, 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 oh, Miss Mary, doing all that old bluesy stuff, And it was a drummer, a keyboardist who was singing, and a bass player. And at one point in the song, the keyboardist stops playing and turns to the drummer and says, you've been effing up that part for 20 years. You effed up that part you're supposed to do with rippity-dippity-doo, and you did a ding-dang-doom. And the drummer says, I didn't F that part up. And the bass player says, hey, man, let's just start the song over again. The keyboardist goes, no, man, he's been effing up that part for 20 years. And the drummer says, I'll kill you, you son of a bitch. I've always hated you. I don't want to be in this band anymore. And the bartender goes, hey! Just play. What's the matter with you guys? Are you professionals or not? And the keyboardist goes, all right, 2, 3, 4, ba-doom, doom, 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 doom. And me and my pal are ringside for this with our beer just trembling from the hangover, going, is there going to be a shooting here or something?
Dude, that's awesome.
It's not too often you see a band break up in real time.
Especially at 10:30 in the morning.
Exactly.
That was just awesome. It was almost like it was a setup.
My favorite New Orleans story comes from Patrick Royce of the Star Tribune, a longtime sports writer. He's sober now, but he was notorious back in the day. He did a lot of drinking. And he was down in New Orleans covering a Vikings-Saints playoff game or whatever, files his story, and he says he goes out afterwards, Bourbon Street, just gets annihilated. And he stumbles back to the hotel, and he gets back, and he picks up the phone, he hits up the front desk for a wake-up call and says, yeah, can I get a wake-up call for 7:45? And the lady at the front desk goes, sir, it's 8:30 in the morning. He goes, oh, never mind.
It was 8:30 in the morning, and he thought it it wasn't yet 7:45.
Right, yeah.
That's some heavy drink. I met him once at a party. Patrick Royce,
wonderful man,
sports columnist. Well, I'll tell you my experience with him. At the time, I was dating a gal who worked in radio, and she knew people. I don't really know that many people in radio. Josh, how many people do you know in radio?
Not many.
The three of us?
I'm trying to think. We've met the guys at KFan, the morning show. They're awesome. Dave Ryan, we met a couple times. I can't say I know these people. Just met them. I mean, Remy at 104 at Jack. We know him well.
He used to be here.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of other people we know.
Handful.
Yeah.
Handful.
It's dwindling.
So I was dating a gal who also worked in radio, and she knew a lot of people in radio. She worked in television, too. She knew a lot of radio and television people. So we go to this party, and it's all radio and television people. And I knew a couple of folks. One of them, it was kind of a weird moment where I look across the room, and it's one of the referees from our beer league hockey league. But he was dating some woman in radio or television.
Were you guys friendly with each other?
Sort of.
Okay.
Sort of. I'm like, what's our beer league referee doing here?
Weird.
So I walk over and I say, you recognize me? He goes, yeah, you play in the beer league. I say, what the hell are you doing here? His wife worked in television or something. But anyway, so my girlfriend at the time knew everybody. And she's introducing me to different radio and television. And I guess Royce would be a newspaper character, although he does television and radio. Anyway, so... when we approached him, he's like, oh, hey, to the girl I was dating at the time. And they talked for a little while. And he says to me, oh, what's your name? I'm Nick. Well, what do you do for a living? He imagined that I'm just with a radio television personality. I'm not also one. And I said, well, I also work in radio. And he goes, oh, you do? Where do you work? And I said, 93X. And he goes, oh.
Dang. What does that mean, man?
He was all excited. He was waiting for my answer. He was hoping for a different answer. Where do you work? 93X. Oh. And we moved on. What else is going on around here, Cubby?
Well, I didn't start my day very well.
Oh, no.
Talk to me.
It's been a tough few days.
Talk to me. It has been a hell of a couple of 3, 4, 5 days.
No sleep. I almost killed a Rock and Roll Hall of Fame nominee and one of the only surviving members of Cumulus Media this morning.
A Rock and Roll Hall of Fame nominee?
Yeah, the guy's lucky enough to survive Friday's layoffs, but I almost kill him when I opened the studio door. Steve Gorman, he of KQ, their morning show guy, and he wasn't.
He's still here?
Yeah, well, I was surprised as you.
Yeah.
I check every day. I check the roster.
See whose car's in the parking lot.
Like, okay, my card still works. That's good news.
Some of us are no longer here. He's still here.
We now do an attendance before every show.
Unfortunately, that's the state of things around here. Yeah,
it's not just radio, but it seems like it's mostly radio.
If you heard us talking yesterday at this time,
it's been horse crap.
You know what we're referencing. It's been a hell of an operation around here. So what happened when you...
So I opened the door, right? And it's a door where you pull to get out, push to get in. I'm pulling to get out. He's pushing to get in. And that tall son of a bitch almost fell right on his face.
The double momentum of you pulling and him pushing, he just sailed right past you?
Yeah, because there's not a window in that door. And it was just the world's worst timing.
Oh, no. That's awkward.
He does not strike me as the most athletic and agile man in the building.
He didn't appear that way either. And I thought, this guy's quite a bit bigger than me. He's going to crush me to death. So, yeah,
he could have landed on you, and I could have come out with, I could have counted a 1, 2, and 3, and I could have, what's the word in the business, Josh? Or your name is Dana. I could have credited him with the 24/7 WWE Championship belt. If he would have landed on you, there's no way you're getting up.
No, not at all.
That would have been a pin.
I would have been stuck for a while. So, I apologize to Mr. Gorman, and we both felt pretty stupid. You know, both of us agreed we got to start looking when we open these doors.
Be careful. Be friggin' careful. I don't want anyone falling on top of each other around here. All right. We were talking boobs a minute ago, Mardi Gras boobs. A listener texted in and said he's got a motto. Big, small, I want to see them all. It doesn't matter. Big or small, wants to see them all.
Oh, who's this from? I had mentioned it would be a great Great opportunity if you're a pickpocket to head down to Mardi Gras. Fat Tuesday.
Sure.
Excessive diarrhea, Jesus disagrees. He says, the naked man fears no pickpocket.
Gross.
Yeah, go ahead and find it.
Yeah.
If you can find my wallet, it's yours.
If you're wandering around that city, again, welcome to Phat Tuesday, Mardi Gras. If you're walking around that city, there will be folks who are going to ask you for something. Can I have some money? Can I have some this? Can I have some that? It is what it is. It can be kind of a sad sight. There are a lot of folks just kind of leaning up against a wall, struggling. One afternoon, I was standing on a street corner there, waiting on somebody, and I stood there for a pretty good stretch of time. And this individual was approaching everyone who was walking down the street saying, can I have some money? And the folks, each of them would say, no. Or they just wouldn't say a word. Mm-hmm. Can I? So this is what I'm over and over hearing this for 20 minutes. Hey, can you spare some change? Can I have some money? Can you spare some change? Can I have some money? And everyone either said no, or they just didn't say a word. The guy decided to alter his approach a little bit. The next couple that walked up, he walked up into their face and said, give me your effing money! Jeez. And the lady went, ah!
Oh,
and
no.
the police descended upon the scene.
Jeez Louise.
It's not all fun and games. I just think the guy got frustrated.
Yeah.
I don't think he really meant to, but he shouldn't have said it. And the police descended, and I just stood there, leaning up against a post.
Yeah, no, it seems like way too much is going on down there. I used to want to go, but then
you love it.
after seeing videos and stuff, it doesn't seem like the safest place in the world.
It is not.
Yeah.
No one's going to ever call New Orleans the safest place in the world.
I saw a video yesterday of some girl. I don't know what she was doing. She was like, her head was down, butt up. I think she was just like shaking her butt for people, and people were like throwing cake on her butt.
Oh, the old cake butt.
And then out of nowhere, here comes a guy who just like helps himself to what's going on there. And I thought, yeah, that's not the place for me.
One night when I was there, we stumbled out of a strip club late at night, and we're walking back to the hotel wherever we were staying, and some guy says to me, goes, hey, that's a really cool shirt, man. And I was like, oh, this guy likes my shirt. This is cool. And I go, yeah, hey, thanks, man. He goes, yeah. You want to buy some drugs? I'm like, oh, you
Maybe.
didn't really like my shirt. You just wanted me to buy your drugs.
No, that's hurtful.
Yeah, uh-huh.
He wanted to break the ice.
Low.
He wanted to break the ice. He got you all buttered up, and then...
So I bought the drugs.
Of course.
You had to.
Yeah, so like I said, if you go to New Orleans, you will drink. There was a conversation being had online about the weirdest place you've woken up after a night of drinking. Anybody want to go first? The weirdest place you've woken up after a night of drinking? I'll go. I got two answers. On my toilet.
That's a good one.
Woke up on my toilet. The other would be naked from the waist down in a parked car. We're at 651-989-9393 if you'd like to tell us the weirdest place you've woken up after a night of drinking. I also once woke up lying on a snowmobile in somebody's garage.
That's where you decided to call it a night?
Yeah, the naked from the waist down in a parked car, it isn't what you think. I don't remember much, but I know it was not masturbatory.
That's not what I thought at all.
Oh, most folks assume that right away.
That's what I thought.
Oh, I thought it was after a session with a young lady or five.
Thank you for that's quite a compliment, Josh. The blank spots in the reel, there's plenty of them, but I was urinating and I could not get my pants and underwears up, and so I just remained in the seat and went night-night.
That makes sense, yeah.
Weirdest place you've ever woken up after a night of drinking? Mardi Gras is a good day. Phat Tuesday, whatever you want to call it, is a good day to have this conversation. 651-989-9393.
The weirdest place for me was probably the time that I went home with a guy, and at the time I did not know he had a girlfriend.
Oh, God.
And waking up in that bed the next day and walking past his very angry girlfriend smoking a cigarette on the porch.
Oh. What?
So it was kind of a combo there.
She spent the night, or she showed up the next morning?
Yeah.
Which one?
She showed up the next morning.
So you spent the night with dude. She must have walked into the bedroom while you and this dude were still asleep and saw you.
Oh, yeah.
And then she just went out, lit a cigarette. You wake up. You have no idea she's there. She didn't say a word to you?
She said some words. I was pretty out of it when she did find us. I was pretty, because I was tuned up, and I honestly, the only thing I cared about was I want to go back to bed. I'm so tired, and I don't feel well.
Oh, I'm sure. So do you remember when she walked in on the two of you?
A little bit. Not too much is all there, but...
Did you fear for your life in that moment?
Not really, honestly. Not as much as I should have.
I think she would have killed him before you.
Yeah, I think she was more focused on murdering him at the moment.
They were... Did this guy tell you that they were on the outs? Was it an ex-girlfriend still living with him? Do you remember any of these things?
It was an ex.
Oh.
Well, that's supposedly what I thought.
Okay.
But turns out that was not the truth.
Wow.
So
yeah, that was insane.
A lot of people would get stabbed or shot in that scenario.
It was one of the craziest moments I've ever had.
Was she hot?
Yeah, she was.
Oh, she was hot?
She was really hot.
Dude, Cubby.
We had a lot of things in common,
yeah.
which was even weirder. I was like, dang.
How did you learn you had so many things in common? You sat down and talked to her?
Later we did.
What do you mean later?
Like maybe
later?
a couple of weeks, month or so.
How did you cross paths with her again?
She had questions about the ordeal and if it was still going on and if what he exactly told me.
Okay.
So I think they tried to work it out.
So like you guys said, she was far more mad at her ex or her boyfriend than you.
Yes,
thankfully. She knew he was a slut.
Oh, 100%.
You probably weren't the first girl that had come in and out of that apartment.
That's what I was thinking.
What did the two of you have in common?
All of our favorite hobbies.
Men, apparently.
We looked a lot alike. It was really weird.
Did he do this to upset her in some way or just...
I think he was just a horn dog.
That's a good one. I don't see many women forming a friendship that way, Josh. I see a lot of men forming a friendship that way.
Sometimes having a common enemy is the best way to bond.
That's a good point.
Perhaps that is what happened here.
Or maybe women are more apt to make friends that way. Actually, women, I think, maybe are more apt to be friendly that way. Yeah, the common enemy, and especially when that common enemy is a man.
Yeah, that's fun to bond over.
That's a great story.
I got nothing cool. I mean, just back of a vehicle, and then all of a sudden back of another vehicle. This was the same night. I don't know how I got between the two.
You got very sleepy in the back of two vehicles.
Well, so the first guy got a D-dub sitting in the parking lot of Bennigan's in Bloomington. I mean, it never moved, but he had, a quote-unquote operational control because he had the keys in there, and It was winter, so the car was running. So he got a D-dub.
And you were in his vehicle?
I was in his vehicle. I don't remember much of what happened then. This was actually maybe 2 weeks after I turned 21, so I was going for it. And then I woke up in his girlfriend's vehicle. And I don't know how I got there, but I know I threw up in there, and it cost me a lot of money to get that stuff.
I'm sorry I took too big a hit while you were talking. When the cops came and gave the dude the D-dub and towed the vehicle, they woke you up back there?
No, I mean, I just woke up, with all the commotion. All of a sudden, I wake up and there's cops everywhere. I had no idea what happened.
And then what? You don't remember?
I don't remember how I got into his girlfriend's car. She was there with us.
You went to sleep in there too.
Yeah, but she was drunk too. That was quite the night. And the only other thing is I woke up just on, the bathroom floor.
Yeah.
Where I lived. So it was nothing wild like you guys have.
Got your number off the bathroom floor. Or was it bathroom wall?
I thought it was wall, but you're better with lyrics than I am.
Well, there you go. 651-989-9393. If you want to tell us a little story. What's the weirdest place? What's the weirdest place you've woken up? Maybe it should be where's the weirdest place you've woken up after a night of drinking?
Anybody got any plans? Any Fat Tuesday plans, or you just don't?
No, I mean, I didn't know about it until we played the intro to the show.
Is that right?
Yeah, I don't follow these types of things. So, no, I won't be doing a damn thing. It was never a holiday that grabbed me anyway until, of course, I made trips to New Orleans.
I never paid much attention to it until I worked here. I honestly never really knew it was a thing.
Yeah.
We've mentioned before, we had a live broadcast where we were yelled at for not making the entire show Mardi Gras related. That guy was infuriated.
Gosh.
Absolutely enraged.
Really? Is that important to him, huh?
Yeah.
Dude.
I mean, yelling at us.
We gotta take a break, but I'd be happy to. I'm sure Josh and I'd be happy to tell you that one again.
Yeah, I want to hear more about
Because
that.
I almost died that day. Almost died. And it would have been the stupidest friggin' way to die. You're a great crowd. We got to move on. We got stupid news coming up. But we can get to that Mardi Gras anger that was directed at us years ago. We can get to that story when we return here on the 93X Half-Ass Morning Show.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show.
Hey, you beautiful podcast listeners. Seriously, you folks are the best. We don't tell you that enough, but you are. And we couldn't do this without you, and we couldn't have a podcast if it weren't for our friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Right now, you can save up to $7,500 on a mini-split ductless system or a high-efficiency heat pump combo with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. I know those are some fancy terms, but what it really means is they're going to make sure you're comfortable in your own house. And get this, they even take care of that rebate paperwork for you. Visit standardheating.com to lock in your deal and enjoy the show. And seriously, you guys are the best.
Expert entrepreneur Ed Milet is on a mission to max out your life.
So many of you have dreams in your life and you don't go touch them. You've got to begin to touch your dreams.
It's time to get laser focused on peak performance.
I'm going to give you very unique habits that I do on a daily basis. Say no more. Have deadlines in your life. Go to work.
And become the best version of you.
Take a day and serve that mission.
The Ed Milet Show.
Max out.
Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
Stupid news on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
Where the hell did I put the stupid news?
Right under there.
Is this it?
Yep. Right by the printer.
Son of a...
All right. My God, we got some drinkers in our listening audience. We asked folks, because it's Mardi Gras. Josh, Mardi Gras.
Yay!
We asked folks to answer this question. Where's the weirdest place you've woken up after a night of drinking? And we're going to have to squeeze in. We're going to have to make some time a little bit later on to get to these answers because some of them are wildly hilarious.
This is so funny.
Unbelievable. Look at the stack of paper I got right here with answers. The wildest, weirdest place you've ever woken up after a night of drinking. We're going to have to sit on that till later, but thank you for your response because you're a terrific crowd.
I've had mixed feelings on this. Very, very funny stuff for the most part. But you know what's not funny? You didn't wake up at my mom's house.
There are a few people.
Lifelong Christian, a wonderful woman, a widow, and you're talking about sex acts with a 70-some-year-old woman. Good for you. Nice work.
There are a few people who have claimed to have woken up at your mother's house.
Yeah, quite a few.
A widow.
A widow.
When you put it like that.
She volunteers at church, jerkwads.
As the
It's
kids
been
say,
an emotional few days already.
It's been an emotional few days. Please take it easy on young Cubby.
as the young kids would say, when you put it as widow, that hits different.
Can you imagine?
Yes.
God forbid. This, hopefully this is a long way away. My mom's on her deathbed. And she's like, come here, son, come here. And she whispers in my ear, I banged them all.
Oh, no!
What if it's all true?
You don't come back from that.
No, not at all. I think I die right there with her.
All of them.
I'll race her to death.
There's even some you haven't heard about.
Them all,
She
say,
names
son.
all the Jesuses,
Yeah.
all of the listeners that have claimed to have had your mother. She names them all.
Everyone but grindcore Jesus.
And he's probably the one she should have had sex with.
He turned her down.
Because he's wonderful.
The only one that turned her down.
A lot of great answers. We'll get to it. We'll wait. Oh, Janel Klein, I think, is stopping by later. She loves drinking stories.
Well, she has her drinking alter ego, Stephanie Luce.
I bet Stephanie Luce has woken up somewhere she shouldn't have.
Yeah,
After a long night, the nitty-gritty in Madison, for sure.
Janelle has no stories, but Stephanie Luce, she has an abundance of them.
Janelle seems like the type that after she's done drinking, the girls will get this in the audience. She goes home and she does her whole nighttime routine still. She actually changes into pajamas, puts on a nice movie.
Yeah, that does seem like her life.
Yeah, she doesn't just pass out on the couch when she gets home.
No.
But I could picture Janelle being the type where she wakes up at a house after a big party and then immediately starts cleaning the whole house.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I bet she doesn't even wake up. I bet she does it before she goes to bed.
That's true. That too.
She goes and gets people breakfast in the morning.
You want to know something about that house cleaning gimmick? I do that.
Yeah, you do.
Because of my friggin' OCD, I do that.
I get made fun of, especially at Christmas. I'm holding a giant garbage bag, picking up wrapping paper as people are throwing it on the ground.
Prices haven't been unwrapped yet.
Yeah, I'm reverse Santa. Okay, this text starts out good. I didn't have time to pre-read this. From OG's Jesus said, hey, I wouldn't make that joke about your mom. I'm classier. I woke up in my own bed to your mom throwing me a towel saying, clean yourself up, big boy.
My God. She just threw a towel on top of him.
Wipe that up. You nasty.
See yourself out, son. Take it easy on Cubby with the mama jokes this morning. There has been a lot of loss and heartbreak in this building the last couple of days. Some of you in our listening audience have been very sympathetic. Some of you have been very much not. Very much not.
I believe they call that misdirected anger.
There's been a lot of loss and heartbreak around here in the last 3 days. Take it easy, at least just for today, on jokes about Josh Mamo. As we move on to the stupid news. Well, you know, we're talking about the weirdest place you've woken up after a night of drinking. Most of you, when you tell your stories, I imagine you to be a young person. Boy, I don't know. I told you probably the worst for me was when I woke up naked from the waist down in a parked car. I was probably in the neighborhood of 25 years old when that happened. I don't know how I would react if I was 50. You know what I mean? It's a young person's game.
Yeah, it'd be a little bit more concerning if that happened at 50.
I'd be very concerned for my own well-being. Speaking of when we were young, we're all more or less stupid idiots when we're 20 years old. On a side note, some of us remain stupid idiots for the rest of our lives. But anyways, I'm about to tell you about a 20-year-old kid who effed up real bad. You know, just for fun, feel free to compare stupid 20-year-old you against this kid. I'll tell you when I was around 20, while we're talking regretful drinking stories. When I was around 20, I got really drunk, and I kicked the piss out of a dude's car. It was a dude I was friendly with. We grew up together. But he pissed me off one night, and I was brutally hammered and angry at the world. So when I thought nobody was looking, I kicked the hell out of the dude's car. But people saw me do it, told the dude, and Josh, I had to sell my effing brand new drum set to pay for the damages.
Oh, no.
Seriously? Oh. And you have no idea why?
Yes, I have... Like I said, I was very drunk, and he had pissed me off that night at a house party.
Sorry, I should have been more clear. Yeah, the specifics.
I don't really remember the specifics. He pissed me off, and I had to sell my brand new Tama Bobby Blotzer drum kit.
Oh, no, seriously? And it was brand new even?
I probably had it for 4 or 5 months, and I had to sell it to pay for the damages, which was heartbreaking, but I deserved it. This dude never came back at me to fight me or anything after I kicked holes in his car, and we were 20 years old. He was very calm about it because he knew he had me nailed, and he played it perfectly. I also think that a couple of the reasons he kept his cool and just simply asked me to pay for the damages to his car was that, number one, like I said, we were friends. The second reason was he was a really out-of-control, destructive drunk himself. So I think he was sympathetic to me because he knew that he was capable of doing something similar when he was wasted.
I know nothing about the cost of music instruments. How much would you estimate that drum set cost?
Oh, it wasn't as bad as you might think. Okay. In 1991, $600.
Okay.
Something like that. But $600 was a friggin' fortune.
Oh, yeah.
When I was 20 years old. Here's this stupid kid I mentioned earlier. In a terrible southern state, the cops had to come racing out to the neighborhood BMW dealership to arrest a 20-year-old kid by the name of Kevin. He tried to steal a car off the lot at the BMW dealership. Here's the details. The kid, who, by the way, is the spitting image of AEW television wrestler Sammy Guevara. This kid wandered into the joint, claimed he wanted to test drive a motor vehicle called an M4. Now, Josh, you're a motor vehicle guy. What do you know about the BMW M4? Fancy schmancy?
Oh, isn't that like a little sporty number?
I have no idea. I don't know cars.
Yeah, I don't know luxury vehicles too much, but I thought it was kind of like a sportier series. I'm sure somebody could clear that up if that's not the case.
20-year-old kid looking exactly like Sammy Guevara walks into the BMW dealership, says he wants to test drive an M4. The folks at BMW asked, I should say this, the folks at BMW ask for around $110,000 in trade for one of those M4s.
Jeez.
Okay, and just as the BMW people anticipated, the young kid didn't pass the credit check required to qualify for a test drive. 20-year-old kid, again, named Kevin. He got all uppity when he found out that he couldn't test drive the pig, and he attempted to grab the keys to the vehicle. Employees stopped him from pulling that nonsense, and they told him to get the F out. Well, Kevin went back out into the parking lot and sat in his car for a stretch of time, staring at everyone inside like a maniac. Then he went ahead and circled the dealership twice in his vehicle before stomping the gas and launching his vehicle headlong into the dealership building. He smashed smooth through the glass windows of the dealership showroom. He got out of his car, and again he attempted to snatch the keys to that effing M4. He failed again with that, and he ran out of there on foot like a friggin' jagoff. Cops easily caught him. Now he's in jail. The estimated damage to the BMW dealership is in the neighborhood of $60,000.
Whoa. I wonder if he qualifies for that amount on his credit check.
That's a lot of drum sets he's got to sell.
Yeah.
On the M4, thank you, Uncle Bitch Jesus said that's the top trim level for a very sporty sedan.
I love when in the story it says the cops easily caught him.
They did easily catch him.
That would hurt. If I was a criminal.
He's broad daylight. He's running down the road, right on the sidewalk. What happened? Another joke about your mother?
God dang.
Is it a joke about...
I shouldn't be reading these.
Yeah, you should.
Faded and X-rated Jesus said, what's the difference between Nick's can of chew and Josh's mom? Nick's can gets...
Oh, no.
Oh, my God.
Maybe I shouldn't read that.
No, keep going. You have to.
All right. Nick's can gets one finger. Josh's mom gets three.
That's brutal, dude.
God help us all.
It's her birthday this week. I got to see her this weekend.
Is it your mother's birthday?
Yeah, on Thursday.
Oh, let's bring her in.
No way. No way.
All right, you want to talk full-on stupid? Check this one out right here. In San Bernardino, California, of course, where Twisted Sister filmed their groundbreaking Stay Hungry live concert back in 1984. God, I remember that like it was absolutely yesterday. In San Bernardino, a lady moron broke into an animal shelter in the middle of the night and released the dogs.
I loved this lady at first.
No, you did not.
But then, I don't know, where are all those dogs going to go?
Exactly.
Yeah, they're going to get hit by a car.
People don't think about, like when you hear, they released 100 minks and they were immediately eaten by a Great Dane in the neighborhood.
Yeah. Actually, I have to tell you, your facial expression when you said, where are all those dogs going to go, was the most innocent look I've seen in years. You really...
Yeah, she had no plan. Just none whatsoever.
No.
She breaks into the animal shelter. 3 o'clock in the morning, releases all the dogs. Now, I'm guessing this nut job thought she was doing something nice for animal rights or whatever, Because those dogs weren't safe in the shelter, right? No, they're better off running aimlessly in and out of traffic at 3 o'clock in the morning. God help us, I hate people. There's hilarious video of this canine effing prison break. You see a door fly open in the dead of night. The crazy dog lady comes walking out of the shelter, followed by 10, 12 dogs who are excited to be outside, but are also looking at this lady as if to say, okay, what do we do now?
This is up on 93x.com, too.
Yeah, are you going to put us in the car? Are you taking us home? She just continues to walk away.
All right, you're on your own.
When are we going to get fed next? Do you know?
In total, the lady busted 25 dogs out of dog prison. She used a set of bolt cutters to get in the shelter and to bust the dogs out. I love this part. An overnight security guard working in some other building in the neighborhood noticed the sudden 3 a.m. effing dog parade and called the police. Can you imagine that guy sitting there, the overnight security guard at the Hardee's or whatever in town? He sees that, why are there 20 dogs running aimlessly down the... The cops also easily found this lady pet detective walking around being insane. They found almost all the dogs. Almost all.
Oh, no.
4 of them, maybe these 4 were friendly while they were in the shelter, too, these 4 dogs. 4 of the dogs were found in a dumpster having the absolute greatest night of their lives. If you see the picture of the 4 dogs found in a dumpster, they don't want to leave. They just are licking at trash and rolling around in...
Oh, they are so cute. You're
Sounds
right.
like dog heaven.
Yeah. The only dog they haven't found yet is one little old Chihuahua, still missing. Hopefully that little peckerhead isn't up in the wheel well of a minivan or anything like that. But if it is, I think crazy dog nut lady should be charged with murder.
I agree.
You know, maybe we're looking at this all wrong. Maybe she hates dogs, and that was her intention.
Oh, my God.
Maybe she's a dog hater.
I didn't think of that.
I never in the world would have considered such a thing, Cubby, and it's one of the things that makes you so valuable around here is you can see that other side of the coin. The rest of the dog, ever since the story made its way around town, some of the dogs are being, how do you say it? Adopted? I almost said abducted. So these dogs are now famous in San Bernardino, California. People are sympathetic to what happened to them, and they're calling in and adopting these dogs up and down. I mean, unless you're a mental case who's going to cut them loose in the middle of the night in a city they're completely unfamiliar with. What a maniac.
This shelter, the San Bernardino Animal Shelter, they're a no-kill shelter. So it's not like any of these dogs were facing death. They were going to get adopted and taken care of.
They had a pretty sweet life.
Yeah.
So maybe that plays into Cubby's theory that this lady's a dog hater and wanted them to walk out onto the San Bernardino freeway and become soup.
There is another theory out there proposed by Uncle Bitch Jesus. Maybe she just hates locks. Maybe she can't stand locks.
She's a lock hater.
She sees a lock, she's got to break it or open it or something. What if that's the world I want to live in, where they find out, no, I didn't even know there was dogs in there. I just despise locks. Mm-hmm. Can't stand them.
Never would have considered that either. That's just terrible. Cutting these friggin' dogs loose, and she just walks off, to go be insane in some other part of the neighborhood. That's scary for a dog to be walking around at 3 o'clock. Big ones, small ones, tiny little sumbitches. All right. People are threatening to pick your mother's lock.
Oh, no.
Did we not just mention the heartbreak and the stress?
I got to be honest. I thought we were really clear about that.
Yeah. Tough week.
Oh, speaking of locks, we've discussed before those genital locks, not just a chastity belt, but like where the guy has basically a bike chain around his private parts.
Yeah.
Anyone? I know you guys are into some weird stuff.
A bike chain.
You guys are into some weird stuff. Anybody ever experienced with something like that?
I've dabbled in some things, but I've never dabbled in bike locks.
Do you remember, Nick, the story in Stupid News? Boy, this must have been a year or two ago, about the smart ones, right? The gentleman, what are they called? A C-lock? I don't know.
I don't even really know what you call it.
But people are hacking into them so they can't open it.
Right. Yes. There were geniuses out there, hackers, who were tapping into the code of this man's penis restraint, making sure he can never get at it. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, so you just can't get out of that.
You can't get out of it.
I'm kind of surprised with the group I'm running with here. Nobody's tried something like that.
I've never. No.
Handcuffs, though. You've used restraints or ropes.
Oh,
or something.
sure.
Of course,
sure. But,
of course.
but
That's
things
child's
like
play,
Yeah,
Josh.
that's step one.
chastity belts and D-locks and whatnot, no, that's taking it to a medieval level that's never appealed to me. Never
Seems
appealed to me.
expensive, too.
Expensive?
Like a chastity belt, I bet that's not cheap.
I wonder if you can get one on Amazon.
Those are the folks, I bet, that are into like heavy whipping and, really painful stuff.
Yeah, they have a room in their house dedicated to this.
There's a level of sickness and control that I enjoy, but not pain, not real serious pain. So that's why I'm not walking around town wearing a D-lock.
Ashley, do me a favor, just so I don't think I have some weird internet habits. Will you Google chastity belt and just see the first thing that pops up, the suggestion? Because I want to make sure that my Google doesn't think I'm a psychopath.
Mine says chastity belt for dogs.
Okay, thank God. Yeah.
Mine says cats.
Mine says cats, yeah. So,
What in the world?
yeah, but you know how Google will suggest, this is probably what you're looking for. Mm-hmm. Chastity belt for cats.
Okay, so let me just take a guess here. If you've got an unneutered male or female, female. Men don't wear chastity belts, correct? Someone help me out.
They're called penis cages, according to Amazon.
Okay.
Which I just realized now is going to affect my Amazon account for a while.
So if you've got a non-neutered cat and you like to let it out of doors, you might put a chastity belt or a penis cage on it so it can't make kittens all over town. That's just a guess.
That's
I'd
what I was
imagine.
thinking.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought maybe if I clicked images, it would give me an idea of what dogs, like a bunch of dogs and chastity belts. No, it didn't.
Would you
It gave
get
me
close-ups of? Oh, you got human genitalia.
Yeah, oh gosh, I don't think I can erase that from my memory.
Is there a lot of pubic hair?
It was just one. It was like a penis in such a tight cage.
Was there pubic hair?
Yes, and he looked like he really wanted to get out really bad.
I don't want to hear any more. Although I appreciate your attention to detail.
If you're looking for one, by the way, I'm doing some shopping for you. You can go on Amazon for $26. You can find a male chastity C-word cage with anal butt plugs. It's like a whole package.
Wow.
There's a key, like an old-fashioned key that locks you in there. There's some rings of some sort. I'm assuming you put that on what doctors call the shaft.
The rings, yeah, sure.
Yeah, it seems like, and it's 4.7 stars out of 5.
Is that on your baby registry, Ashley?
Yeah, I'll put that on there. I have never seen these kind of chastity belts. Every time I've thought of chastity belt, I picture like the old medieval ones.
That's what I picture too.
Yeah,
These are intense.
I don't know what they look like. I haven't followed this. Go ahead, spin your
You wanna
computer
see?
my way.
Yeah.
You showing me a picture of a chastity belt?
Are these guys or girls?
Oh,
Guys.
that's for a dong.
Yeah.
That looks horrible.
I didn't think it was
Horrible.
like that.
Terribly
dude.
uncomfortable. That's not my thing.
Oh.
I don't need mine or anyone else's gear to be under lock and key. What band?
Dokken.
What year?
1984.
5. Close enough. What was the lead single?
Couldn't tell you.
In My Dreams.
Oh, that was the lead single in that one?
Yes.
That's a good tune.
By the way, while we're talking about genitalia.
I like the intro to that one.
Oh, the intro was beautiful. It's just beautiful. I remember it till the day that I die. While we're talking about genitalia, remember yesterday when we were talking about plucking hairs?
Yes.
And the pain involved in... Ashley doesn't feel the pain of hair plucking anymore. She's grown calloused to the what's the word I'm looking for? The practice. Josh and I feel a tremendous amount of pain when we pluck hairs. We don't do it very... There was one text that I missed on this topic, because people were texting in, oh, when you pluck them out of your nose, it hurts like hell, or out of your ears, a beard hair, that hurts, and this and that.
Oh, I never thought the ear one hurt, but the nose one, whoo, boy, yeah, that stings.
There was one text I wasn't able to get around to because we ran out of time is how you say it. A listener texted in to say, what about when you're wearing a belt and you get up too fast and you tear out some of your top pubes, is how they put it.
How low are you wearing your pants? I've had like a stomach hair get popped out before.
Ooh.
Oh, I bet that's common. Yeah, women, we shave if we get any little hairs there.
I didn't know women get tummy hair.
Yeah, it's not as much by any measure. Just maybe like 3 or 4.
I'll out tummy hair any chick in town.
But the only downside is mine are brown, obviously. And so they like stand out like crazy. So if I forget to do it, I'm like, oh gosh.
Are we talking about the treasure trail?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, it goes that high? Oh, see, I've got a gulch in between mine. Like a moat.
Gulch. A moat in between your what and your what?
Between where my treasure trail would go on my stomach hair. But I have a long torso and a very narrow urethra, unrelated, but I have one. So I'd imagine, that's got to be pretty impressive if it goes from pube to sternum.
You and your friggin' narrow urethra.
It's so narrow.
Almost every day we discuss it because Josh and I urinate together in the men's room, and it takes you forever to pass urine.
It does.
Because your urethra is like the width of a pin tip.
Yeah, I could draw blood if it could go the opposite direction. It's a needle essentially, and you know what's great about
Somebody ought to get a look at that thing.
Oh, I've had plenty of people look at it
and bore it out.
Yeah, plenty of people, professionally, of course. But I have an advantage in that there is not one skid mark on any toilet that can stand up to what I got.
Oh, is that powerful?
It's a pressure washer.
All right. Got to add one other thought, and I lost it. But we might as well just move the hell on because we got at least one more story I think we have time for here in this stupid news. Just a headline isn't going to do you any damn good here because it makes no sense at all. Says here, a blind Canadian man had his own tooth surgically implanted into his eye so he could see again, or as they say in Canada, again.
This made me nauseated. It's up on 93x.com.
A blind Canadian man had his own tooth surgically implanted into his eye so he could see again. Check out the pictures on 93x.com, Ashley says. Do any of you know how this works and can tell us right now? Because I certainly don't know how this works.
I had to read it. I still don't fully understand.
Do you have to be Canadian for a tooth to help you see again?
Good question.
Let's figure this out as a family. Says here now then. Earlier this week, a feller by the name of Brent, he underwent one of Canada's first ever tooth-in-eye surgeries. This tooth-in-eye gimmick, they tell me in the story, has been restoring sight for folks in other parts of the world for decades already. Well, F me, I did not know that. They say it's a rare operation. Most people have never friggin' heard of it. Yeah, most people. Things are going to get all doctory now and confusing. I'll try not to overdo the technical stuff, but things do go ahead and get all doctory. The procedure uses a patient's own tooth to craft a support structure for an artificial eye. An artificial cornea, to be exact. They use the tooth as the support for an artificial eye. A doctor up there in Canada, he's the guy for this procedure. He says the operation is broken down into a few different steps. First, they karate punch a tooth loose from the jaw of the patient. Step 2, while the patient is picking themselves up off the floor of the doctor's office, they shave the broken tooth down into a rectangle. Step 3, they drill a hole in the tooth and throw something called an optical lens in the damn thing. It's like a little eye. There's a ways to go yet. The next step is the tooth with the eye in it. It goes into the patient's cheek like a pinch of Copenhagen, and it stays up there for about 3 months. Not sure why, but that doesn't really matter. Eventually, they surprise the patient while they're at work. It takes 5 or 6 doctors for this part. They hold the patient down and force the eye tooth into the patient's eyeball without anesthesia. And next thing you know, miraculously, the sumbitch can see again by a looking through his own eye tooth.
That's bizarre.
For the first 6 months, he has to have eye braces just to correct all that.
Science is crazy. Just crazy.
Yeah, how do you come up with something like that?
Yeah, whose idea was that to begin with?
God, no, Josh. The story goes on to say that there is a chance of terrible infection and the patient loses all vision and then the eyes fall out. But more often than not, this trick has worked over the damned years all over the world. It has worked. Honestly, what a wonderful thing it is to restore sight to someone who upped and lost it. I don't like the sound of that part where they pin you down. That sounds stressful, but this is miraculous.
I wonder if they put it in your cheek for a while so that your body gets used to it and doesn't reject it.
I think that's it.
Oh, that'd be so... I don't like this.
It becomes accustomed to...
Like, can you feel it from the outside?
That would be kind of hilarious if somebody's using scope eye drops, or flossing their eyes.
Sure. Yeah, you put that tooth in between your cheek and gum like it's a copy. I bet you have to limit some of the things that you eat for a while.
Definitely,
You can't be getting Laffy Taffy stuck to your eye tooth,
Laffy Taffy.
Yum.
Been a while.
Really? I eat them all the time.
Do you really?
All right,
You have strong teeth for that.
One more. This is real quick. Now, this would be a hell of a happy accident. Not that I'd have the balls to do anything shady if this happened to me. A bank accidentally transferred more than $80 trillion into a customer's account.
Somebody on Twitter, or X, as people call it, broke down exactly what they would do and how to, keep the money. And once I got to, step number 5, I thought, nope, that's doing too much. I'd just give it back.
I would assume the bank can afford to murder me in some way and make it look like an accident.
They have a hitman on retainer.
$80 trillion was accidentally transferred into a customer's account. Fat fingers are to blame. Citigroup is the name of the bank, if I'm not mistaken. A customer was looking to dump a humble $280 into their bank account, but an employee at the bank, punching the numbers into the computer, fat-fingered the keyboard, and if only briefly, made that customer the richest person to ever live.
Oh, they are so getting fired.
A few hours later, someone at the bank noticed this gong show and fixed the problem. Unfortunately, the customer had already left his wife and children, strangled his stepdad to death, and bought a Cybertruck filled with cigars and cocaine.
I used to work at a bank, and on the first Friday of the month, it's insanely busy. It's just how it is, especially on any Friday. It's busy. And I made the mistake of giving somebody cash and putting their check into their account. So I cashed their check and put it into their account. And it was the worst feeling ever because nobody's going to call and say, hey, that girl accidentally gave me, $800.
No one's ever said, look, I have too much money.
Exactly.
Right.
It was awful. It was just weeks of investigating them.
Was it a big check, like a big amount of money?
It was over $1,000. And so they take, once it hits over $1,000, it's a lot more serious. And so, I got investigated. They said hey, we know you didn't take it, but because of the amount, we have to let you go. It was the one time I was ever fired. It sucked. I felt so awful.
You were fired for that.
Yeah, and I thought, screw that lady.
I mean, that sucks. I've told you before, when I was 18 years old working at a convenience store, I was wildly hungover one morning. A man came in and bought some cigarettes and some soda or whatever. And his change was $28.86, and I gave him $28.86.
It happened.
I caught myself. I caught him before he left. What the hell? And the guy just sat there as I'm cluelessly wrapping all these dollar bills into the palm of his hand. He knew I was effing up. He didn't say a word. And maybe I wouldn't have either.
Part-time electrician Jesus brings up a good point. He said, so wait, there's no confirmation screen like, hey, $80 trillion.
That's
Are
a
you
lot.
Sure?
Jesus, I don't know.
Buddy, the only story I have that's anywhere near related is a friend of mine was getting a refund for a return of $50 and they added an extra zero. He got $500. That didn't last too long. They figured it out quite quickly. So a day later it was taken back.
Yeah,
But he was pumped for a day.
Oh, how could you not be pumped? $500 is $500.
Sports on the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
The two most difficult things in life or hitting the baseball and keeping a woman happy long term. The two most difficult things in life. You hear me?
All right, Chad Johnson, former NFL wide receiver Chad Johnson. I don't know if you could catch that right there. He was on a television show or a podcast or something recently, and he said
First Take TV show.
A television show called what?
First Take.
First Take. He said the two most difficult things to do in life, hitting a baseball and keeping a woman happy long term. What do you think of that statement, Josh? I know one thing is way easier for you than the other. I've seen you swing a bat.
Well, hey, Randy Shaver said hitting a baseball is one of the most difficult things you can do in sports. He said that many, many times.
There's also one more little piece of information that Chad Johnson gave away during that conversation on television that I'm going to save until 7:30. Randy Shaver, Janel Klein are going to join us at 7:30. There's one more piece of information I think you're really going to like. But hell of a statement on his part. The two most difficult things in the world to do, hitting a baseball and keeping a woman happy long term. Nothing was going on last night, at least with local ball clubs. But there are things happening tonight. Timberwolves are at home tonight to play the sad-ass Philadelphia 76ers. They really are a sad ball club these days. I'll tell you why when we are joined by Randy and Janelle. And the Pigs struggling a little bit themselves. I know they got a win last time around. They're playing on the road tonight starting at 9 o'clock. They dropped the puck against a totally unnecessary Seattle Kraken. Like I said, Randy and Janelle going to join us in a half hour. Josh's news is coming up next.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show.
Hey, you beautiful podcast listeners. Seriously, you folks are the best. We don't tell you that enough, but you are. And we couldn't do this without you, and we couldn't have a podcast if it weren't for our friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Right now, you can save up to $7,500 on a mini-split ductless system or a high-efficiency heat pump combo with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. I know those are some fancy terms, but what it really means is they're going to make sure you're comfortable in your own house. And get this, they even take care of that rebate paperwork for you. Visit standardheating.com to lock in your deal and enjoy the show. And seriously, you guys are the best.
Hi, I'm Joe Salcihi, host of the Stacking Benjamin Show. We are diving into what should be in your little emergency go bag. What goes into your financial go bag?
Passport, driver's license, social security card.
Cash, credit cards, my wallet.
The most important thing, your master password.
OG just gave us the guns. That's all he needs.
Meaning the bicep.
Come and get them. You never knew personal finance could be this fun. What's a big can of Colt 45 cost?
Stackers Anonymous. Is that about $3.50?
That's what
Dr. Pepper.
Go back. Stacking Benjamins. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
Half-Assed Morning Show. 93X.
I've never been betrayed like this in my life, and I'm pretty freaking pissed off right now.
Well, that is one pissed off sheriff. A New Mexico sheriff said he's furious after losing his right-hand man to a public corruption scandal, and he feels betrayed by his number one guy. Sheriff John Allen said his former undersheriff, 47-year-old Johan Jurenko, is now caught up in a federal investigation where officers say he worked with a defense attorney to get drunk driving cases dismissed in exchange for bribes. He said that his number two told him that the feds interviewed him, and the next day he was out, resigning at the sheriff's office. It's completely making me sick, and I literally got sick, and I threw up in my garbage can.
Oh,
Allen
my God.
admitted. He said he first got suspicious in January when federal agents questioned former Deputy Jeffrey Hammerell. After that, Allen noticed that Jurenko was acting differently, but the FBI wouldn't talk to him about why.
How in the hell would the FBI ever trust me when my right-hand man who speaks for me would give me any other information? That is another red flag.
Yes, they thought the sheriff may be a part of the scam. Then came the photo, one that wasn't helping his case, a picture that showed him, Jurenko, and two other command staff members, and apparently the lawyer who was in on the scam. Of course they're going to suspect me. I'm in a photo with this guy. What a piece of crap, he said. He put me in a bad position, and now people can spin it however they want. He insists the lunch was about campaign outreach and said he had no idea what was going on. Now Allen has to move forward without Jurenko. It's not just a black eye for the agency, it's a gut punch. A kick to my balls and two black eyes, the sheriff said. He's a little mad. He's the first sheriff's office employee, Jurenko was the first sheriff's office employee to resign over the DWI scheme. Meanwhile, former Deputy Hammerell has already pled guilty, admitting an unnamed supervisor assured him he wouldn't get in trouble for that scheme.
Jurenko?
Jurenko. Yeah. Crime may not pay, but it can get you some free electricity, at least until someone notices, which just happened in Florida. A 28-year-old woman's behind bars after stealing electricity and sicking her large dog on utility workers who confronted her about it.
They don't need to have to dangle with that. A large dog?
Yeah, went after him. A deputy arrived late in the morning after a call from 2 Duke Energy workers who were at Tiffany Perkins' home investigating possible utility theft. Perkins didn't appreciate that inquiry, so she used her dogs to attack the workers. After the deputy arrived and began speaking with her, Perkins called 911 herself, but then she had her Great Dane attack an officer, causing injury to his arm and eye. After confirming Perkins was indeed stealing electricity, backup officers showed up, but she didn't go quietly, resisting arrest until she was ultimately introduced to a taser. She was also accused of improper waste tire disposal and having an open septic tank.
Her property was a total mess.
Yeah, there was some trouble going on.
You know, you have a couple of Great Danes. They're about the sweetest dogs in the world. You probably have to be a total dick to turn a Great Dane into an attack dog.
Yeah, they've always been very, very sweet. I mean, they can be protective, but you're sicking them on somebody, I don't think they'd have any. They would assume that I was joking.
Yeah, that's not in their nature. You must be abusing that damn thing if it's attacking people.
Oh, yeah.
By the way, I told you guys I like to play puppy mechanic with my big dogs. I crawl underneath there and just make sure everything's tuned up. And yesterday, I made the mistake of getting a little too close to the exhaust.
Oh, no.
Something I never considered. So just a warning for anybody that plays puppy mechanic and you sing the puppy mechanic song and you kind of bond with your dog, don't get anywhere near the exhaust.
I just don't understand how you thought, to play puppy mechanic with an animal that's hung better than you.
Well, I stay away from that side usually.
I don't know how you can when you're playing puppy mechanic.
Well, in one case, it's really unfortunate.
Do they have bad gas?
Not so much.
Oh, okay.
Not compared to other dogs.
Name me a dog that has good gas.
Yeah, it's surprisingly, seriously. The ones we have now, at least. We had one before, but the ones we have now, not too bad. They go to they go into the bathroom and take
That's
care of it. They turn on they turn on that fart auger. They're very sweet dogs.
The fart auger.
An 18-year-old in Florida is accused of shocking and random attacks at a Publix where he stabbed a woman in the neck with a pair of scissors and hurled a liquor bottle at her face for no good reason.
See, that'll kill you.
Yeah, well, luckily this lady survived, but she was very confused, as you can imagine.
Out of nowhere, she takes a scissors
out of nowhere
to the throat and a liquor bottle upside the skull.
Yeah. According to the arrest report, Gabriel Solomon targeted a 62-year-old woman at random last week, stabbed her in the neck before grabbing a liquor bottle and throwing it at her. Thinking fast, she shielded herself by pushing her shopping cart toward Solomon as he lunged again. And that's when another customer stepped in, tackling him to the ground and stopping the Wednesday attack. Solomon later told authorities he grabbed a pair of scissors from home and walked to Publix after hearing voices in his head.
Oh, boy.
The voices didn't tell him to hurt anyone, he claimed, but he chose to attack the woman simply because it, quote, felt good.
Gabriel Solomon stabbed a woman in the neck with scissors and hit her with a wine bottle, later claiming it, quote, felt good and that he feels like an animal.
Before the assault,
Jesus.
He reportedly fixated on the woman as she stood next to him in an aisle, silently following her through the store before finally striking. When officers arrived, they found the shaken victim in the back of the store, surrounded by Publix employees. She had a cool towel pressed to her neck and was visibly injured with bruising and swelling on her left hand, though she couldn't recall how her injuries happened.
Well, it's because that bottle knocked the wits out of her.
It scrambled those eggs. Solomon was found sitting outside the front doors, demanding to be detained. They obliged.
Keep an eye on this sumbitch.
Yeah, how do you defend against that?
The voices in his head.
Yeah. A dramatic standoff erupted in a Gainesville Walmart parking lot Saturday morning when a Florida woman fired shots and barricaded herself inside a trailer, setting off a tense scene that shut down nearby businesses and brought a swarm of police to the area.
I was legitimately thinking about going into Walmart because I'm from Oregon and I didn't pack shorts for my trip, so I was going to go get shorts at Walmart, and fortunately, I didn't go over there.
Authorities responded around 7:50 a.m. after reports of suspicious activity when witnesses recalled hearing gunfire before the woman locked herself inside. As officers worked to establish contact, the suspect herself called 911, claiming she needed a mediator after her trailer had been vandalized. During that call, she also admitted to accidentally firing her weapons. Police wasted no time evacuating the parking lot and nearby stores, blocking off traffic as that situation unfolded. Then more gunshots rang out from inside the trailer, raising tensions even further. When they finally entered, police discovered the woman armed with a handgun, a rifle, and multiple pistols.
We now know that she was armed with a semi-automatic rifle as well as pistols, all of which obviously create an extremely dangerous situation for our community here.
After intense negotiation, she was taken into custody without further incident, and no one was injured.
You really going to leave us hanging like this, Josh?
What?
Did the guy from Oregon get his shorts or what?
Well, I don't know if he went back. I do like those stories. I almost was somewhere near where this thing happened.
I like the specifics he gets into, too. Well, you see, I'm from Oregon, and I was going to pack shorts. I forgot to pack shorts. I thought, well, where can I get shorts? Maybe that Walmart.
A 40-year-old Missouri hospital worker decided to moonlight as a perverted low-budget spy, secretly filming his female coworkers in the bathroom with a hidden camera disguised as a pen.
In the bathroom.
A nurse at North Kansas City Hospital noticed an ordinary-looking pen sitting on a plastic storage tote. But then she noticed it was pointed straight at the toilet. At first, she thought nothing of it, but a closer look revealed a tiny camera lens, and when she took the pen apart, she found a SIM card inside. Investigators reviewed that card and found 2 disturbing video files from earlier the same day. One showed a hand carefully positioning the camera to capture the toilet, the other, a woman pooping, or she could have been peeing. I can never really tell what they're doing because it looks the same to me.
It's none of your business.
That's true. Hospital surveillance footage revealed more. Cameras showed the suspect entering the employee locker room near the bathroom around the same time the videos were recorded. In the footage, he could be seen going in and out of that bathroom multiple times. He didn't typically work in that department and didn't even have a locker there, but his keycard data told the real story. He swiped into that area 15 times during that shift alone, a place he's not allowed to go. When questioned, he claimed he had food poisoning and needed to use the bathroom frequently.
Food poisoning.
He apparently said he had to poop a lot, but he insisted he never purchased a device like the one he found, and no reason yet as to why that card worked there. Investigators weren't buying it. They sent the SIM card to a forensic lab where experts uncovered even more videos, 7 additional victims, all caught on camera. Some clips even showed him placing the pen in the bathroom, sometimes with his hospital badge clearly visible. Tough to get out of that one.
Idiot.
Have you checked the bathrooms here, Ashley?
I guess not really well.
All right.
Maybe I should.
Take a swing through there and tell us if you find anything.
Because Dana's missing a pen.
I am.
That needs to be charged.
There is a new bottle of lotion in there. I don't know where that came from.
Oh, boy.
Here we go. A couple's frantic race to catch their flight to Mexico turned into a full-blown telenovela, they call it.
Telenovela?
At Miami International Airport, featuring a dramatic brawl, cops storming the tarmac, and a flying cup of coffee. Running late for their Cancun getaway Sunday, the pair decided airport etiquette was optional. Instead of calmly rebooking or admitting maybe they should have set an earlier alarm, they began blaming and arguing with staff, escalating things to the point where one of them thought an employee needed a coffee shower, and the doofus hurled a cup in the employee's mug.
I think that's outrageous.
Lack of respect for people in general. We need to have more respect for one another.
Through coffee, someone is not okay.
Video footage captured multiple cops racing to the gate with at least 6 sheriff's deputies storming in to break up the scuffle before takeoff. American Airlines wasted no time responding, stating acts of violence are not tolerated by American Airlines. Turns out missing a flight wasn't the worst thing for the couple that day. They also are facing some serious charges, and they may get a ban from the airline as well.
I like that we should have more respect for each other guy.
Me too.
Someone give him a position of power.
He's right. A routine trip through baggage claim took a terrifying turn for a 40-year-old woman at Boston's International Airport Sunday night when a scorpion stung her. The unlucky lady was grabbing her luggage around 7:30 p.m. when a painful sting from a scorpion rocked her like a hurricane.
That woman had just flown back from Mexico and was collecting her bags at baggage claim when she says she was stung on the finger.
Yeah, those little peckerheads, they'll hide in your luggage and in your shorts and whatnot and strike when the feeling grabs them.
How the scorpion ended up in the airport or where it even came from is a mystery, but officials are suggesting it may have hitched a ride on a traveler's suitcase.
Was that a scorpion a handful of months ago, Josh, that bit that guy on the pecker while he was hanging out at a hotel in Vegas?
Yes, it was.
Oh, yeah.
And then there was a pilot just a week or two ago that got bit by the tarantula.
Oh, dang.
You always got to watch your suitcase for scorpions. That's why I keep mine Klaus.
Oh, my God.
Keep it Klaus at all times.
The greatest pun of all time has been dumped on this morning show. March 4th, 2025, 7:22 a.m. When I went to Arizona many years ago, I was quite thoroughly checking my shorts and underwears and socks and luggage for scorpions. I was very paranoid about it.
I never even would think about it.
Oh, I'd be like you, Nick. I'd be very, very aware.
And I don't even know if they're common in Arizona, but I've just been taught from, old episodes of sitcoms and whatnot, Brady Bunch and whatnot, that scorpions hang out in warm weather climates. So someone from Arizona might be texting right now saying they don't even live down. I don't know. I just, that's the thought I had in my head, and I was very adamant about it.
Scorpions are often thought of as desert dwellers, but they also live in Brazilian forests, British Columbia, North Carolina, the vehicle you're driving in right now, and the Himalayas. And scorpion venom can pack a punch, with some species carrying up to 45 different toxins. Authorities are still investigating that bizarre incident.
He keeps mine Klaus.
Hey, I appreciate that. Look, I wrote this differently because I was kind of nervous.
You wrote this differently because you were kind of nervous.
I just put...
You wrote it in bold letters?
Yeah, so I'd remember, maybe don't do it if it's too stupid.
Don't in the moment you get a little chicken.
Yeah, in case I got chicken, I put that there so I wouldn't just read it.
Let me just ring my Herman Rare bell.
Puddle of Mud's Wes Scantlin is once again catching flack after a messy performance.
This guy's not worth the hassle.
Boy, he sure does make the news for usually not a good reason.
Not worth the hassle.
The band played a benefit show at the Broken Spoke Saloon in Florida as part of Daytona Bike Week. Fans described Scantlin's performance as terrible, but the singer claimed he had a reason. You see, he was roofied before the set by a former band member. Puddle of Mud was booked to headline the charity event. It included an auction for a signed guitar benefiting St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital, so it started on a high note.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Like a disgruntled former band member showed up.
That's right.
Okay.
That's what he's claiming.
Right.
The guitar raised $5,000, so that was good. Then the band took the stage, and things quickly went downhill. The next day, a fan asked Scantlin what happened, leading to his bizarre allegation.
Here with the great Wes Scantlin from Puddle of Mud. We're at the Broken Spoke. He performed last night, and Wes, tell us about the show last night.
I suck, and I suck, but I was roofied. My old bass player, Sean Salmon, roofied me last night.
That's right.
Oh, no.
Yes, he said a former band member, the one in question, Sean Salmon, played with Puddle of Mud from 92 to 2002 before they rose to fame. Regardless of the alleged drugging, the incident adds to a pattern of chaotic performances from Scantlin, including past on-stage meltdowns.
Any comment from this former band member?
Not that I've seen. But, if it's not true, I'd imagine he's thinking, what the hell, man?
It's a hell of an accusation right there.
That he roofied him before the show?
I don't know.
More than 6 years since Daredevil met its demise at Netflix, the series has begun to be resurrected at Disney Plus with a fitting new title, Daredevil Born Again, and it's streaming now. In the highly anticipated revival, Matt Murdock finds himself on a collision course with Wilson Fisk when their past identities begin to emerge. Also streaming today, the first season finale of Paradise on Hulu.
Tell me if I'm nuts, Josh, but wasn't Daredevil a movie starring Matt Damon or something? Ben Affleck, and everyone said it was just a heaping pile of feces.
Wasn't very good.
And then they turned it into a television series.
Yeah, it was good. The Netflix series I enjoyed.
Word.
I look forward to this one. Ex-bassist for Metallica, Jason Newsted, 62 today. The lovely, funny, and talented Catherine O'Hara, 71.
Oh, my.
Happy birthday to my nephew, Don. And happy 49th to East Winstead Jesus from Sits on Baby Jesus. And that's 93X News.
Randy Shaver.
He's very hairy and has a great disposition. Like I said, he loves to hug and he loves to give kisses.
On the Half-Assed Morning Show.
4 cases of Labatt Blue. Nice. Well, I mean, I didn't get the 4 case. I drank them while I was there. It's a great place to drink, Tom, Montreal. For all you kids planning on going up there for a trip. I'm kidding. No, I'm not. It was good.
Randy Shaver live from Florida. Randy Shaver.
Randy Shaver's now live from Florida.
Good morning. Good morning.
Hi, Randy. Can you hear us?
Yes.
Okay. Nice to hear you. How you doing this morning?
I'm doing good.
Janel Klein, live in studio.
No.
Good morning.
No.
Good morning. And good morning, Florida man.
Good morning.
He is Florida man right now.
You're nothing but a friggin' Florida man at this point.
I am.
How did it take so long to sink in? That's genius on your part.
But he's out of there in a couple of days. He's coming.
Oh.
Yeah. Tell Janelle you're coming home in a couple of days.
We're leaving Thursday, yes.
And everything's going to be fine.
Good.
Janelle, have you been taking care of his place while he's gone?
I've been trying. There hasn't been a lot of snow to shovel.
A lot of parties going on.
Yeah.
It's going to be a lot of cleanup at my place.
It's just like it was high school again.
God, oh my God, Janelle.
Empty keg in your basement.
Yep, exactly.
You can leave.
Puke all over.
You know what? A friend of mine and his wife taught us years ago. You can leave that keg in your basement. You can leave it there for years. You can leave it in the can, with the water. You can leave it there for years.
Do me a favor, Janelle. Take the underwear off the chandelier for you. Okay?
I might have put some water in your vodka bottle.
Refilled it up.
Trust me, my kids did that to me a long time.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
I know that trick.
That was the move. But then if they put it in the freezer, though, the booze would freeze because there's water in it.
Did you go home from a hard night's work and try to make a drinky drink and there was friggin' water in the vodka bottle, Randy?
I did not, but my kids told me much later in life that they did that on a frequent basis.
Yep.
I'm not much of a hard drinker, so I never really knew, and they knew that too.
Right.
And all this time I had this kind of a mini bar in my basement in my old house, and I thought I had all this booze down there. It's a good thing I didn't have a lot of friends who came over to want to drink because they would have been sadly disappointed.
You have the lamest, most sober Super Bowl party of all time.
Vodka-flavored water is all he has.
I even used to put like iced tea or Diet Coke in the whiskey bottles. I don't know why I thought that would work, but maybe they won't taste it. They'll just look at the levels.
We've been talking about drinking a lot today because today is Phat Tuesday, Mardi Gras and everything.
Sure.
We never told our Mardi Gras story. We can get to that in just a minute. But there is a lot of drinking-related stuff we can continue to talk about. The audio in our opening intro there, former big leaguer with one testicle, by the way, John Kruk, says that Montreal, Quebec, Canada is a great place to drink.
I've heard that. The people in Canada call it the Vegas of Canada.
Never been there.
Oh, I haven't heard that.
Oh, is their drinking age 19 like some other places in Canada?
That's what I've heard, but I can't say for sure. I've never been to as a friend of mine who, I guess he knows things, he's always said the proper pronunciation is Montreal, not Montreal. It's Montreal. I've never been there. Looks beautiful. I'd like to go see a hockey game up there sometime.
Oh, baby, the drinking age is 18.
And life.
Heck, yeah.
Montreal, Janelle, have you been there?
I have.
What'd you think?
Well, I would have never thought it to be a drinking town, but then it's me, so maybe that's why.
Were you there for a work thing?
I was there for fun, and what I remember is it's just so beautiful. It's historic. It kind of feels European.
Right.
To call it the Vegas of Canada, I would have never thought.
I think you can find things if you're looking for them.
Sure, that's so true. So true.
So one of the subjects, and we're going to have to come back to this later in the show because we got such a massive response. One of the subjects we covered earlier. Where do I have it right here? I just want to make sure I get the verbiage correctly. Where's the weirdest place you've woken up after a night of drinking? Now, we were joking around earlier.
Randy's basement?
Did you wake up on the floor of Randy's basement?
Yeah.
We were joking around earlier saying, well, let's save this conversation for Janelle because she loves binge drinking stories.
Right.
Josh made a good point. He said, well, Janel Klein might not enjoy those stories, but Stephanie Luce would.
Yeah. Stephanie Luce probably had your alter ego.
And again, tell us who Stephanie Luce is, Janelle.
Well, when I was in college, I had an ID. And I will say, I don't think it wasn't a fake ID. It was a real person that my friend's older sister gave me. And the name on the ID was Stephanie Luce.
That's so perfect.
That is perfect.
Great drinking name.
Yeah, but then to think somebody actually has that name.
Right.
How did you get it? Do you remember?
My friend's sister had it. And then I think I've told you guys this before, but then so I turned 21, which was kind of a technicality at that point, right? And I sent it to my friend Christina in Mankato, and it somehow ended up at Blue Bricks? Is that the bar in Mankato? Does anyone know?
Doesn't ring a bell.
I'm not sure.
But she got it taken away.
She did.
So it is probably somewhere in the basement of Blue Bricks or in a Mankato landfill.
So
they probably use that to identify other fake IDs.
That's probably true.
That's what we would do when I worked at a restaurant.
Yeah.
So you were able to bounce around all the bars at Madison with this fake ID with the name of Stephanie Luce on it, having the time of your life.
It was.
Did bartenders or bouncers kind of laugh when they see the name? It's like McLovin. It stands up.
You can't make it up. But it's like, what if you're her and you have that name your whole life?
Yeah.
I can see you. I can just picture you in that era, knocking down a couple of shots, heading for the dance floor. I want to shoot, baby. Boom, boom, boom. I saw the sign, and it opened up my eyes. I saw this. Janelle and her friends, Wisco, Josh, they loved Ace of Base.
Oh, I bet that got him on the dance floor.
It's funny now. I go over there for if I have an actual reason to go to Madison, and I walk by a bar and I just shake my head.
You walk by the nitty-gritty or State Street
I'm
Frost.
so embarrassed. Yeah, what was I doing?
You were right. Blue Bricks, that's the bar.
there you go.
Thank you,
Okay.
brother and sisterhood. Also, Smokes Your Mom's Pot Jesus has a great idea. We should get the real Stephanie Luce on the air.
Yeah, let's find her.
Because I bet people come up to her and say, oh, man, I was partying with you 3 years ago, but all these stories that she wasn't a part of.
Do you think she has a good story about I was, walking to class one day and all of a sudden I lost my wallet and I never got my ID back.
Yeah.
And then I'd have to admit, well, I'm really sorry, but I used it for 2 years.
I would be really happy if that's what happened to my ID.
You've made her immortal.
Yeah.
I guess.
Randy Shaver down there in Florida. Janelle refers to him as Florida Man now. Which is interesting. Yesterday I got a text message from a listener saying, can you give us any update or results on the Florida Man games from last weekend? And I tried. I tried real hard up and down the internet trying to find results. All I have in front of me here, thank you for bringing it up again, this listener who texted in, because, why wouldn't we want to revisit? All I can tell you from an article I found yesterday is that the Florida Man games were again a huge success. They brought back a few popular events, added some new ones. The evading arrest obstacle course where you run from the cops while holding a catalytic converter. You're whipping each other with pool noodles. How do you say it, Josh?
Noodles.
Pool noodles.
Noodles. Yes.
One letter
Sumo cage, wrestling. All I can tell you, sorry, I wish I had more detail, but that it was as Borat would say, great success.
Okay, maybe I'm misremembering this, but I thought the same team that won last year was they repeated their
back
win.
to back?
I wish I could tell you, Cubby. Axe throwing lawnmower races, a mechanical gator instead of a mechanical bull.
And there's no beer left in the state of Florida.
Well, yeah, because they all use that human beer pong. They use pools of beer for that.
Did we mention this the first time around when talking about human beer pong, that the loser had to chug beer, whiskey, or bong water?
Oh.
Do you get to choose? Oh, my gosh.
I don't know. Maybe depending on how badly you lose, you either have to chug beer, whiskey, or bong water.
Oh, no. No.
Oh, God.
Which will just turn you inside out.
Yeah, that makes me want to vomit.
It'll smooth turn you inside out. Earlier on, we were talking about Arizona and whether or not maybe some folks would say Arizona's like, the great drinking spot. Some say Montreal, maybe others would say Phoenix or Scottsdale, Arizona. I did go on vacation once to Scottsdale. I thought it was gorgeous, and we did a lot of drinking. Josh had a story in his Stupid News about a scorpion traveling in someone's luggage. They were coming from where, Josh?
They were on their way to Mexico, or from Mexico, I think.
Okay. I assumed that maybe Arizona was a hotbed for scorpions, but I didn't know for sure. Here's confirmation from a text message. A listener says, when I lived in Phoenix, the house I rented was crawling with scorpions.
Oh, God.
That's just another reason to not go to Arizona.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Arizona.
You said that the other day when we were talking to Brad Ryder.
Yeah.
Now, have either of you ever bothered to check your luggage when you're coming home from a... Because both of you travel.
For scorpions?
Yeah. Scorpion check.
Specifically scorpions?
Yeah, after you left Duluth, did you check it?
Yeah, you travel so often. I mean, bed bugs, have you ever brought anything back?
Oh, God, I am scared of bed bugs. I am scared of bed bugs.
Oh, yeah?
Never had any incidents, but
Well, the good news, you can't even see them. You might be crawling with them right now.
Could be.
We stayed at a hotel at a softball tournament for my daughter. And so it was 2 queen beds. And my son and wife shared one, and I had my own. They had bed bugs. Somehow I didn't. Either that or I repelled bed bugs.
Bed bugs just didn't want you.
What's that?
Was it in their luggage?
No, it wasn't in the luggage, but they woke up just completely covered in, red marks, and they were super itchy.
It's a nightmare.
Go ahead and make fun of me for being bald some more.
I had a buddy once.
Yeah, they didn't get anywhere above your neck, did they?
No, didn't get me at all.
I had a buddy once who he lived in an apartment complex with 3 other dudes, 4 of my friends, and he came home from work one day and he saw somebody put out what he thought was a perfectly nice recliner right by the dumpster, leather recliner.
No. Oh, idiot.
Brings it upstairs and he puts it like, it's my chair, my throne, nobody else can sit in it, and he's acting all cocky. Oh, of course there were bed bugs in it. And it fumigate the place, ended up costing him a couple $1,000s.
Oh, what an idiot.
We got a free chair once that we found a dead mouse in. That was cool. They had kept it in their garage. It was just an old, not a recliner, but an old chair.
I bet that's common.
We've been straightened out here by a listener who knows something about the Florida Man games in that event called Human Beer Pong. The article I read said if you lose, you have to chug beer, whiskey, or bong water. This listener said, no. If you lose, you got to chug all 3.
Oh, God.
No, thank you.
Oh,
wow.
God.
They have paramedics on scene.
I'd probably do the bong water first.
Get it over with?
Get the worst out of the way.
Wash it down with the other stuff?
I'd go bong water, beer, whiskey.
Yep.
Whiskey's going to burn away all that.
Yes.
At least that's the theory.
Exactly what I was thinking.
While we're talking all this drinking and carrying on and this and that and, how should I say it? Glorious, beautiful vacation destinations. Like I mentioned, today is Mardi Gras, Fat Tuesday, whatever you want to call it. Josh and I earlier teased our old Mardi Gras story, and we never got around to it, where Josh almost had to beat a guy to death over Mardi Gras. And strangely enough, we were not in New Orleans. We were in Jamaica, if I'm not mistaken. Do you remember?
Yes,
am I accurate with that?
You're right, 100% right.
We were in Jamaica. We were broadcasting live, promoting some liquor or something. You guys know how that stuff goes.
We were promoting hedonism too, Janelle.
We were promoting the resort itself.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Where there's a nude side and a prude side and then a purgatory right in the middle.
You've heard our stories about
Where
hedonism.
would you end up, Janelle?
I have never heard this.
You've never heard our hedonism?
Oh, you got to hear about Nick's experience in an orgy on the beach.
What?
Like a dark experience.
Was it like a sponsored trip?
Yes.
Oh, my God.
Back when radio had money,
Oh, my God.
we had gone a couple times. We went 2 years in a row. I mean, and you'd be in a bar, and they had a clear water slide that went through the bar.
Yeah.
And you just see butt after butt after butt spinning around this bar.
We could tell you hedonism stories all friggin' day long. My behavior was disgusting.
We learned that European guys love genital piercings. There was so much of that. It was pretty wild.
But the Mardi Gras related story was okay. Thank you, Josh. I'd totally forgotten. We were promoting the resort that we were staying at, Hedonism. And it was a riot. I'm ashamed of myself for a few things.
You definitely enjoyed yourself.
Totally out of control the entire time.
I had to remind Nick on day 3 that the show started at 5:40. We'd be knocking on different tiki huts looking for Nick.
I walked to our broadcast booth from a different room every morning.
Yeah, he's not kidding.
And I walked over at about 7:45, 10 to 8. It was just horrible. But I did not care about my job at the time. And
they kept plying you with as much red stripe as you could drink.
I never had anything other than... Anyway, there was this whack bag jagoff who was bothering us all 3 days of our broadcasting because, yes, we were down there during... like pre-Mardi Gras, so February, right? In the weeks leading up to actual Mardi Gras.
Yep.
And this guy would, we're doing our local show, but just from a different location. And we're promoting hedonism along the way. We're, of course, for our listeners back at home, we're trying to make the show sound normal.
And there was a lot going on.
Lots going on. Naked people everywhere. Everyone's drunk. But of course, the goal is to still do your regular show. Well, this effing guy would not shut his yap about how we should be talking more about Mardi Gras, because that's what's happening right now in New Orleans.
Because he was from there.
Because he's from there, and it's the greatest party of all time. And it's like, dude, we've got other things we have to deal with.
He's yelling at us.
He was an obstinate prick, and finally we had enough of this. One morning, I don't think we broadcast this morning. This was our one day to sleep in, and then we were leaving later that evening. I woke up so brutally hungover. I can barely walk, see, talk, anything. I walk over. Josh is sitting in a little bar area that serves food, beautiful Jamaica. And that's Josh and this prick bag sitting a few tables apart. And he's already engaging with Josh for the 1,000th time, telling us what a waste our broadcast was because we didn't mention friggin' Mardi Gras. I sit down. I order something to eat because I'm about ready to die.
That's the first time I think you ate in 4 days.
I ordered myself a cheeseburger, and I'm sitting there with Josh, and I'm fresh out of bed. I'm still trying to get my wits about me. And this guy starts up again, and finally Josh friggin' snapped, and he had every right to do so. Josh is, do you realize we're broadcasting to Minneapolis, St. Paul? Nobody in that town gives an F about your stupid Mardi Gras. And then the guy stands up, and he's like, why don't you come over here? And I get my cheeseburger. My cheeseburger's I had just bitten into my cheeseburger when the two of them shoot out of their chairs to fight.
Oh, no.
I try to swallow what is in my mouth, but my mouth is so dry and just... and I begin to choke on this cheeseburger. So I want to help Cubby kill this guy, but at the same time, I'm kind of wondering, should I alert Josh to the fact that I am suffocating with a cheeseburger lodged in my trachea at this point? And so I stand up too, and I'm turning blue. And I finally just get that cheeseburger down, and then I shout, get him, Josh, kill him. But the security kind of got between, God, I wish you would have killed that man.
Well, and that was like when I was in the shape of my life, too. But I've only really blown up 5 times, and he's one of those. But I also, like, the times I've blown up, I immediately realize how ridiculous it is and calm down right away. So I basically had to tell the guy, I'm like, oh, hold on a second. My buddy's struggling over here. We'll get back to this in a second. Checking on him.
And,
it just kind of went away. I mean, honestly, this guy was relentless for days on end. We couldn't deal with it anymore.
Here was the good news, Josh. If you would have choked this guy to death and then consumed his organs...
It is hedonism after all.
Yes, in front of everybody, people still would have said, boy, Nick acted like a real jackass in hedonism. The story would have been swept under the rug because I was such a friggin' animal down there.
Would you like to share the...
No.
Well, I'll just tell you this. This could be hearsay, but there's a...
Which story? Go ahead.
The story.
Let me hear this hearsay.
Maybe you've never heard this story before.
Yeah.
There was a guy, I knew him, I worked with him. He's my best friend. I love him. He's the godfather of my son. Mm-hmm. Could be anybody I'm talking about. And I hear this the next day. He goes to the nude side, which, by the way, so here's the rule. The nude side, if you show up in Bermuda shorts or something like that, you are enemy number 1. They kick you out. But the nude side, people could come to the prude side, no big deal. Like, that wasn't a problem.
Yeah.
Even though they tried to keep them separate. So he's over on the nude side, and there's an orgy. Apparently, there's one every night. And this guy, if I'm remembering right, said you could see it outside of his hotel room window in the evenings. He shows up. His body is in action mode, if you follow me. There's another guy in that same condition. They've been drinking a lot. You know, the sand, it's uneven ground, and they fell onto each other. And their anatomy connected.
Oh my God.
Boys.
Have you ever heard that story, Nick?
I've heard that one. I've heard it said there was a head-on collision on the beach.
There were no survivors.
It was very pokey.
Oh my God.
Yep.
Tough to apologize for such a thing.
But you had mentioned in the story you heard about whoever this was that both guys were very forgiving and apologetic and.
You know, what is it? Like in a car accident, one person is at fault?
Yes.
I was at fault. And what do you call the other person in that car? The victim was very forgiving. Very forgiving. I thought, they're going to throw me out of here. They're going to arrest me. You don't. One man's penis doesn't fall onto another man's penis without some kind of trouble. But there was no trouble. He was very forgiving.
Yeah. You said he couldn't have been nice. You guys just exchanged insurance information, went on your
Yes, we did.
and that was it.
No need calling the cops. There was no real damage.
No.
We checked for damage. There was no damage.
Just your souls.
This guy really wants me to melt down here. Millwright Mobile Welder Jesus says, you know, if you would have put some ketchup on that hamburger, you probably could have got it down a little easier.
wrong.
Zelda Master Jesus said, gosh, that's a crazy story. But you guys really should talk more about Mardi Gras.
It was only on those trips that we took where Josh would run out of patience with people.
Yeah, those were 2 out of the 5 times in my whole life.
Yes, because we didn't like to travel. The broadcasts were very, of course you're drinking and carrying on, but still the broadcasts were kind of stressful.
Right.
You know, we were out of our element. There were things that went on that, hell, by the time we were ready to get out of there, we were not in the greatest moods. Josh just wanted to be home. I felt like garbage, so There's reasons why our patience ran a little thin. You know, there was also that time you were going to stab that guy from New York, but whatever. You know.
In that case, we were on we were in the Virgin Islands for Jose Cuervo. They rented or leased an island called the Cuervo Nation, and so we went there, and they, they had a lot of really nice people there, and there was a couple that weren't, and they were very demeaning. It was like they had different divisions of the country, right? Show up at different times, and we were with Midwest folks, and they were very demeaning. All the coastal guys were very demeaning to us from day one. They just were kind of acting like it was a joke.
The New York and Boston and L.A. people, they never stop reminding us about how they're the bigger market and the Midwest flyover states, and we're New York and we're L.A., and we wanted to kill them.
Gross.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was, 3-4 days of this, and then we're stuck on this little boat with this guy from New York who was the most obnoxious, and he kept telling us how New York's the best at everything. Everything. I don't want to yell, but I'll let you finish the story, Nick.
So we'd heard from this guy all friggin' week, just like the Mardi Gras guy, about New York this, New York that. And we just wanted to be left alone on our final night. And here comes Dinkus. And he says...
Yeah, like I said, he was so... demeaning the whole time.
Yeah.
Talked down to us like we were idiots.
And he says, and as soon as he walked into the little part of the boat Josh and I were sitting on, I just said to myself, oh, this is it, And the guy says, I bet you guys are antsy to get home, huh? And we said, yeah, it's been a long trip. Yeah, we do love going home. Yeah, we are. We're looking forward to it. And he says, yeah, me too. When I get home, I'm going to have I'll tell you what I'm going to have. I'm going to have some Chinese food. And I'll tell you what, in New York City, best Chinese food in the world. And Josh shoots out of his chair and says, is that right? Have you ever heard of China?
I wanted to know.
You son of a bitch, leave us alone.
How is the Chinese food in New York better than it is in China? You gotta tell me.
Oh my God.
And again, I'm like, Josh, sit down. But don't really sit down. Choke this guy to death. But sit down.
God.
It's going to be... We get on the airplane, and we felt shame.
Yeah. You always do if you lose your cool.
Tell us your travel stories, Janelle.
You mean about like where I beat someone up?
Yeah.
Have you been demeaned in such a manner, being a Midwesterner? You know, you go all these places.
Well, I think generally, yeah, there's that attitude maybe.
Did you ever fall? Did you ever fall down on a beach while naked?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't recall.
You know, I'd love to hear his side of the story.
Oh, so good.
If he tells it as well.
Oh.
Well, what did he say to that? Just walk away?
Well, no. You say, I'm sorry. And then you walk away.
Fast. Real fast.
You know, Randy Shaver, we were playing a quote earlier from former NFL wide receiver Chad Johnson.
Yep.
You tell me if you agree with his assessment. Do you have that quote in front of you, Josh?
I do.
Chad Johnson, otherwise known as Chad Ochocinco.
The two most difficult things in life are hitting the baseball and keeping a woman happy long term. The two most difficult things in life. You hear me?
Did you catch that, Randy?
I did.
The two most difficult things in life, according to Chad Ochocinco, are hitting a baseball and keeping a woman happy long term.
Yes.
Would you agree with that?
Totally.
It's a cute
Totally.
little saying there from Chad. He said this on television.
I actually think hitting the baseball is easier.
It can be. It definitely can be.
I told you.
I'll admit that.
Are you tough to please, Ashley?
It depends on the day. If I'm just having a bad day, yeah. I'm just negative. You can't really fix it.
I can see you being a tough go now and again.
Yeah, I have a hard time getting out of a bad mood.
Where Janelle, I bet she's very agreeable most days. Very agreeable most days.
I would love if you weren't. If you were the complete opposite of who you are, like as a person in a relationship.
Ooh, wouldn't that be fun to find out if one of us went away for the weekend with Janelle and found out she's just an impossible person to get along with?
She doesn't want to go to any restaurant you want to go to.
Let's go to like Cuervo Island or whatever.
Cuervo Nation?
Cuervo Nation.
Hey, I'll tell you what. We'll take you to hedonism if you want.
I would love to drink tequila with you, Janelle.
At this point, Josh, you and I are the perfect age to be naked the entire weekend.
Oh, you know, we left something out about Cuervo Nation. That's true. That's about right.
The older people are the ones that get naked, and they go everywhere naked down there.
Yeah, it's not like the brochure.
No.
It's a lot different.
Oh, yeah. Right.
You know, I forgot this part. So you guys know I'm not a partier, right?
Right.
Not at all. But year one, so we went 2 years in a row for both trips, actually. And year one, we went, and I did party quite a bit. And so Nick will remember year two, we go back, and I was the party guy. Everyone remembered me. Oh, it's Mr. Party, life of the party.
Right.
And we're all thinking they're being sarcastic. But, I mean, it was really just one day that I went kind of nuts at this Cuervo Nation thing. So, yeah, year two, I let down a lot of people. A lot of people who assumed that I was Mr. Fun Party guy.
Yeah, here's a list.
I don't miss those days.
Yeah, you were mislabeled. But, you drank like everything.
Yeah, that first night.
Yeah, but that's what you do when you go to things like that, right?
Yeah, but he drank everything.
And it's, I'm not taking responsibility away from myself, but it's like every time you turn around, the people are like, here you go, here's another one, here's another one.
Yeah. Right.
It's so funny, Josh, about that story about the time you really partied down in Jamaica. When I was working at the other place, I never caught your guys' show. Like we say, we don't go home after shows and listen to other people's shows. But I did catch one Saturday morning that story being told on the backtracks on a Saturday morning. I was in the car. So my impression of you was the party guy.
Oh, you heard one of those broadcasts?
When you first hit me up after I got laid off and said, hey, if you're looking to talk radio, we'd like to talk. I'm like, oh, man, the party dude just DM'd me?
Wow, Dana, that's hilarious. You were misled.
That was my impression. I was like, oh, man, this dude's wild.
That's hilarious.
That is the last word I would ever use to describe Josh.
Isn't it funny how one night, one moment in time can change people's perception of you forever and ever?
No, I mean, to give you an example, Janelle, so it's weird, but my older kids now can join us at all of our events, 21 plus. And they like to stand around and count the F-bombs because I don't swear very often. So if I'm hanging out, like talking to people on the boat, if I have an F-bomb, I'll just hear one. I got to 4 one year.
Is that right?
Incredible.
I don't think I've ever heard you swear.
Yeah, I don't too often.
I love it.
Hey, back to Chad Johnson real quick now. That wasn't the only comment he's recently made that grabbed people's attention. Again, he said the two most difficult things in life are hitting a baseball and keeping a woman happy. It says here, according to this article, he also recently admitted that he underwent an enlargement procedure on his unit.
Okay.
That's what he said.
Okay.
Well, I suppose he could probably afford the best doctors in that regard.
Pixar didn't happen.
I'll take your word for it.
Timberwolves at home tonight to play the sad Philadelphia 76ers. I call them sad because this was a ball club that was all lined up to be a champion. They were supposed to battle Boston year after year for the Eastern Conference, but injuries, specifically Joel Embiid's injuries, have made them an average ball club.
Yeah, Paul George missed last night with a groin injury, and Kelly Oubre was out last night, so they got pummeled by Portland at home, which is not a good sign if you're a Philadelphia fan. But, yeah, I mean, they're if you look at their bench, I don't know if you recognize anybody that came off their bench last night in the game against Portland. So, yeah, they're a sad group, but
they still have some guys who can beat you.
I'm gonna say this. Having said that, this is the kind of team that the Timberwolves have had issues with.
Be wary with these guys.
Yep. I mean, Maxey last night was 2 for 13 from the field. If Tyrese Maxey plays the way he's capable, that could be an issue for the Wolves if they're not ready to play tonight. So.
Okay. 7 o'clock tonight on the FanDuel channel. Here's a listener who says they know something or another about Chad Ochocinco's penis enlargement procedure. He says, he went from a Cinco to an Ocho.
That's a big jump. I'm jealous I didn't come up with that. That's awesome.
Edwards, how do you say his first name? Anthony Edwards is trying to alter his approach to arguing with referees.
I'd be A1 from day one.
Good.
It's going to be hard for the guy. He's very emotional, and he knows what we all know, that NBA officials are the worst on planet Earth. But the more he freaks out, the more technicals he gets, the more games he'll be suspended from here until the end of the season. He says he's just trying to be a little more civilized out there, Randy.
I think it's the language. I don't necessarily think it's the emotion.
Yeah.
I think it's the language.
Yeah,
and if he's able to control that better, hopefully that will lead to less issues on the court for him. So
yeah, he uses foul language. He's going to try to be a little more civilized, and
they're looking for it, right? I mean, the officials
got a target on his back.
He's got a reputation now, and so like I'm not saying he's Draymond Green, but I'm saying once you earn that reputation, it's kind of hard to get rid of it. So,
listener has texted in with all these conversations on drinking and beautiful vacation destinations and how drunk we've gotten ourselves in these different destinations. A listener, Pug Life Jesus, thinks that this morning show should consider doing a live broadcast from Tijuana.
Donkey show. Donkey show.
I've only heard stories about Tijuana. Janelle, have you been to Tijuana?
I have.
Oh, yeah?
Of course you have.
You've been to Tijuana.
I
Boy,
have.
you are well traveled.
What was the reason you were in Tijuana?
I believe it was something work related. I just remember being like, let's get out of here.
Well,
for what reason? Is there any example why?
Well, there was one point, God, this was quite a few years ago.
Isn't it?
It is scary. I did a travel show in Mexico. I worked on some segments, and I don't remember what, I don't know what the deal was, why we were there. It was very brief. It was for like an hour. We had to interview someone. I don't remember exactly, but it was not fun.
Dangerous, though?
It felt that way.
Did it?
Yeah.
Well, that's what Pug Life Jesus said in his text message. He said he has heard the area can be quite dangerous. Yeah. Janel Klein in Tijuana. And you said to yourself, I'm not in Faribault anymore.
That was true.
Back to Anthony Edwards. Something we neglected to mention yesterday. He did pass Malik Beasley in that game against, who the hell did they play the other night? For Christ's sake.
Phoenix.
Thank you, Josh. In that game against Phoenix, he did pass Malik Beasley for the most three-point baskets made in a season in Timberwow history.
Bring gas.
Yeah. He finished that game against Phoenix with 244 three-pointers this season. Back in the year 20 and 21, Malik Beasley had 240 three-point baskets.
Again, that tells you the evolution of the game and where we are. I mean,
yes.
We've still got 20 games left, and he's already passed the record.
He's already passed the sumbit. Dallas Mavericks, who recently pissed off their fan base by trading away baby nuts, have pissed them off all over again by announcing that they're going to raise ticket prices for next season.
I really think that Vegas theory is really true at this point.
They're going to move to Vegas.
They're just trying to piss them off as much as possible, create fan apathy, and nobody will notice when they leave.
Las Vegas.
I can't believe the Dallas Mavericks are moving to Vegas.
I'm sorry.
I can't believe that the Dallas market would be allowed to lose an NBA team.
Yeah, that would be.
I can't see that.
And now that goofy ass Kyrie Irving might miss some time with an injury.
Yeah.
It's just nothing but fun in Dallas if you're a basketball fan these days.
Yeah.
That is obviously a major concern what's going on right now. For those wondering why is he shooting the free throws, if there's a possibility of him coming back to the game, he has to shoot these free throws.
That's exactly right.
LeBron James is now 1 point away from a historical milestone that will likely never be matched in the history of time. He's on the verge of 50,000 career points if you add up regular season and playoff. The next game for the Lakers is tonight at home versus New Orleans, the New Orleans Pelicans. All he needs is one more point to hit 50,000, and no one will ever get there ever again, according to the story.
Yeah.
He already is the regular season points leader. He passed over Roger Murdoch. He's a co-pilot.
Yeah, if you think about it, I mean, you'd have to really start your NBA career at age 18 and be a phenomenal player by the time you're 20 and then play another 20 plus years. If you think about what it would take to reach that milestone, that's pretty difficult, I would think, for anyone to even think about getting to that point. So
he's already the regular season points leader. He's already the all-time playoff points leader. He passed that world-class prick Michael Jordan a few years ago on that deal.
Yeah.
Serena Williams, all-time great tennis player, just bought a WNBA team, the Toronto Tempo.
That's cool.
I've never heard of them. Is this our new team?
They will begin play in the year of 20, then 26.
Okay.
Serena Williams is in on owning that ball club. She also owns a small stake in the Miami Dolphin.
Really? Interesting.
Yeah. How is it that this continues to make massive amounts of money? I've never heard one single human being mention this outside of this radio show. Power Slap is moving to YouTube. They're officially leaving something called Rumble, and they signed a $76 million deal or something like that. How is this a thing? I have never once had someone say, hey, did you see Power Slap the other night? Or do you want to come over and watch it? Janelle, you look very confused.
What is Power
I watched the first one, but I only made it like 5-6 minutes into it.
It's tough to watch.
Yeah.
You've never heard of the Power Slap? Oh, no. Janelle, it's horrible.
Like someone slaps someone
Yes.
else?
Yeah, that's all it is.
It. That's a show?
Yes.
It's a sport.
You have to hold your hands at your sides. Ashley approaches you and slaps you in your word giver.
I could never.
As hard as she can, and then it's your turn to slap her, and people's ears come off and they fall unconscious.
And there's people standing behind you to catch you.
Yes, when you're knocked unconscious.
Yes.
And then what? They decide who is the better slapper?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like a last man standing type of thing.
Right.
What in the world? Who came up with this?
Dana White.
Yeah.
Oh, of course.
At one point, he said he thought it was going to become bigger than the UFC Power Slap.
Come
What in the
on.
world?
It's like a night out in Ely. Just
Who are the contestants? Like people volunteer for
they're
this?
huge.
Yeah, these are really big dudes.
Oh,
yeah, they knock the living hell out of
Yeah.
them.
Is it all men?
No,
there
there's
are women
too.
Oh my
probably
God.
women.
I don't know if I could watch that.
Teeth come flying out.
I can barely watch it. It doesn't seem right.
The taste, they literally slap the taste out of each other's yaps. But, okay, fine. I can understand how this would get a niche audience, you know.
Yes.
But
Yes, of course.
$76 million, YouTube, this, that.
It doesn't seem accurate. That's crazy.
When they were on whatever Rumble is, when Power Slap was on Rumble, Rumble paid them $30 million for the rights to broadcast the events. This sounds like stuff, like I said, that you'd find at a roadhouse in Ely, and you'd pay $5 to get in and watch.
Exactly.
I don't get it.
Is it like in a boxing ring, or where do they do this?
Yeah.
On a stage sometimes, too.
Okay.
It's the most bizarre damn thing.
Oh, my God. Oh, there's like a real set with lights and stuff.
Yeah, they got lights and stuff.
Janelle, this could be your next big adventure.
It could be.
You could be the ring announcer for Power Slap.
Yeah.
Stephanie Luce here for Power Slap.
Yes, Stephanie Luce.
Oh, my God. Is there a host and like commentary and stuff?
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, how do you break that down?
I don't know.
Well, that looked like a pretty hard slap to me, Chuck.
Right.
I wish I could help you out with more details, but I've seen a couple of videos on silent on my computer, you know, sitting here at work.
Right,
I keep the computer on mute so you can't hear the passion going on. I don't know what the hell.
As you do research.
Yes, research. Right there was a good crack to the. Josh played a crack to the mouth.
I'm gonna slap you.
Oh.
I slap you. I slap you. I slap you. I'm slapping you silly because you disrespected me.
Love that scene.
Josh, your name isn't Josh. Janelle, if your very successful television career ever comes to a point where you are doing play-by-play or ringside interviews at the Power Slap show, I bet you would become a heavy drug user.
Oh, yeah.
Hard street drugs night in, night out.
You have to.
Just numb the pain.
Now, the Brotherhood's reminding us about Car-Jitsu. Are you familiar with this one, Janelle?
No.
Where people do jujitsu in vehicles.
It's as ridiculous as it sounds, Janelle, yeah.
I watched
You're
it.
trapped inside a car. and
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't know what you mean, like to try to get out?
I think the winner is the person that gets out of the vehicle, right?
They're trying to escape, really?
Isn't it kind of like Ricky Bobby and the cougar in the car? It's kind of the same thing, right?
Isn't that what it is, Josh? You fight the other guy with jiu-jitsu in the car, and the first one to get out of the car wins?
That's the one I saw, at least. I don't know if it's all the same.
Oh, I didn't realize they were trying to escape the car. That makes it so much more funny.
Car-jitsu.
I mean, I guess I have some viewing to do.
It's amazing, Janelle. It's amazing, Janelle, the education you get every time you come on this show.
Truly. I never know what a total loser I am until I come in here.
See, Janelle?
You are not a loser.
No, it's fun. It's fun telling you these things. Jiu-Jitsu Jesus saw a Car-Jitsu event in Fridley.
Oh, wow.
No way.
Oh, my God, really?
Yeah.
No way.
Oh, like a couple fighting in the bar parking lot? Or is that what he saw? Did he give you details?
Well, he did say Fridley, yeah.
Oh. Well, I've seen that before, the man and wife kind of fighting tooth and nail in the bar parking lot.
Yeah, that's awkward.
Janelle,
Porno Jesus said there's also something called phone booth boxing.
Oh!
Are you familiar?
Dangerous.
Shotgun Messiah Jesus wants to know if we're familiar with something called the bang bus. Now, that's different. Yeah. Don't look that one up.
Tell Janelle what goes on in that bus.
No. I've heard things about this bang. I've also heard it's on a bus. What the hell?
Janelle, never refer to yourself as a loser. I don't want to live in a world where unfamiliarity with jiu-jitsu, car boxing, and power slap makes you uncool or makes you a loser. Come on.
Somebody else says there's a all-women's league where they smack each other's butts super hard.
Oh, my.
See, we used to play ass slap, and then a lady cried.
Oh, you've told that before.
Yeah. What
There's
your
no
buddies
crying
ruined
in
it.
ass slap.
Yep, that's what we said, but she cried anyway. There was a friend of mine who used to host beer parties when we were younger, and he and his wife were the catalyst behind this. They created a game called Ass Slap, and it was a very simple game. You stand around with a bunch of friends, and you drink yourself sideways, and you surprise ass slap someone with every damn thing you've got. I never enjoyed the game at all because I got a trucker butt. I ain't got no ass to speak of. So when someone would hit me on my little minnow cheeks, my little tiny baby cheeks, it would hurt like hell. But whatever. It was stupid. We were young. But one night, a gal got hit on the ass so hard she started to cry.
It's terrible.
The host threw a flag, and we called the game. We called it on the spot.
There was no chance for replay. That was it.
The Pigs are playing at the totally unnecessary Seattle Kraken tonight, starting at 9 o'clock. Are we talking to Markey tomorrow? Oh, God, all the way
on
from
the schedule.
Yep.
Oh, he's going to be way over there? Oh, boy.
Yeah, I guess I'll have to check with that.
Maybe that won't happen.
We could offer him a day off if he's way out there in stupid Seattle.
Well, they travel to Vancouver to play after that.
Yeah, it's early. It's pretty early for a guy in Seattle and Vancouver, so we'll let Markey off the hook if he wants it. All right. If I can, break things down and be serious for a second, this has been a tough 3 days for our program. And this last half hour has helped quite a bit.
Yep.
We had a lot of fun with that conversation, and it certainly helps our situation. So thanks, Janelle and Randy Shaver, because we had a lot of fun with that one. There's been a few listeners who have been very sympathetic on text messages over the spot that we're in, and many of you have been the exact opposite, very hurtful, very hateful. What did you called it earlier? Misplaced anger.
Yeah, a little bit. I think some people forgot that we lost not only a coworker but a good friend seeing every morning too.
Absolutely.
We're in the same boat, and now things are a lot different for us.
So I just wanted to make a statement and say,
not saying feel sorry for us, but just so you know, we're in the same spot, and in some ways it's even worse.
So that was really fun, and I just wanted to say, boy, it's true that laughter is the best medicine, and we can move on with our lives. Randy Shaver, have a wonderful day, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.
Sounds good.
Janelle's going to come back with some more drinking stories when we return on the Half-Ass Morning Show.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show.
Hey, you beautiful podcast listeners. Seriously, you folks are the best. We don't tell you that enough, but you are. And we couldn't do this without you, and we couldn't have a podcast if it weren't for our friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Right now, you can save up to $7,500 on a mini-split ductless system or a high-efficiency heat pump combo with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. I know those are some fancy terms, but what it really means is they're going to make sure you're comfortable in your own house. And get this, they even take care of that rebate paperwork for you. Visit standardheating.com to lock in your deal and enjoy the show. And seriously, you guys are the best.
If you're listening to sports,
if you're looking for an edge rusher, looking for a run stuffer, you're looking for a big-time player in the middle of your defense, you're in luck.
Mixed with pop culture, sprinkled with celebrity interviews.
You hated the title Everybody Loves Raymond.
That's true.
Is it appropriate for you to tell people to hurry it up?
It's appropriate on Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Bill Burr is here.
I want to know who you defeated to get that title as best dad ever.
I'm the Gonzaga of dads.
And you're enjoying the Rich Eisen Show podcast. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
KARE 11's Janel Klein.
This is the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Hello. Live microphones are needed. We welcome you back to the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show. Janel Klein is here for now. You never know around here. Hi, Janelle.
Hello.
Mardi Gras today, right? Get some.
Yeah, get some.
Does it mean anything to you?
I didn't know. You said it was Fat Tuesday. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, none of us realized it until this morning. Josh played us an intro that, sang a song about boobs and beads and Mardi Gras. It's not something that any of us really regularly keep up with, but today is Mardi Gras, Fat Tuesday. It got us talking about drinking, this and that. Josh admitted again to his, what kind of behavior would you call it, Josh? Back in the day when
pure debauchery.
Your debaucherous behavior.
Like one or 2 days of my life.
Fat Tuesday at the Mall of them. Today's Mardi Gras. And I'll tell you what, we opened up the text messages to our listening audience. We asked them, where's the weirdest place you've woken up after a night of drinking? Perfect topic for this heavy binge drinking holiday. At least there are still some places in town who will have a big Mardi Gras party, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure, yeah.
What's the weirdest place you've woken up after a night of drinking? And I got a stack of papers here that I printed off. These are all text messages from our listeners. It is the size of your mother's ass. Well, not your mother, Josh's mother.
She's got cake. She's got cake.
Let me try this out on you now. The question again, what's the weirdest place you've woken up after a night of drinking? And Janelle, while we're going through some of these messages, you can try to narrow your story down to one.
Oh,
There's got to be one.
These are hilarious.
As a 16-year-old kid, I worked at a pizza joint, got drunk, woke up next to one of the waitresses who was in her 50s.
Oh, wow. Dang. That's quite an accomplishment.
Twice in my 20s, I woke up in a pool of my own vomit next to the toilet because apparently I have the worst aim anyone has ever known.
Oh, man. Oh, no. That's dangerous.
Woke up naked on a shop creeper underneath a pickup, partially. Forget that word, partially. Woke up naked on a shop creeper underneath a truck with a woman's crotch on my face. I'm telling you, he says, Iowa is an effed up state. That's from Iowa Hillbilly Jesus. You got it on underneath the pickup on a friggin' creeper? That does sound kind of Iowegian. Oh, woke up in a strange place. Walked outside. Saw the water tower with the name Farmington on it. It should have had the name New Prague. Drank a pile of Yag bombs. Sleepwalking after passing out. Tried to use the bathroom, crapped all over the toilet, woke up in the bathtub. My wife at the time caught it all on video. I'd want to destroy that evidence pretty quickly.
Yeah, me too.
Weirdest place you've ever woken up after a night of partying? One individual just said Osseo. Does this count, Josh? I think this is medical device Jesus. Woke up at the bus station. When I was a second grader, I woke up at the bus station garage. I slept through my drop-off, and the bus driver never checked the bus.
I guess that counts.
I mean, you weren't wasted. I don't think you were wasted.
Yeah, that definitely counts.
As a second grader. Isn't that something?
Yeah, you should put that in there.
I bet that happens more than you think.
Kids being left on the school bus?
Oh, there was just a story last week on it.
Yeah, I have actually a childhood friend that did that. But if you think about it, those seats are so high when
Right,
you're little,
yeah.
like you could be in the back.
The driver usually does a sweep of the vehicle when they get back to the terminal.
Yeah.
And you had a friend who fell asleep on the school bus and was left there.
Yes. I think in kindergarten.
Are they still there?
He said. Nope, he escaped.
They got out? Okay.
But he was talking about how, in those days there weren't cell phones. So think about how panicked your parents would be.
Oh, yeah.
If you're like 5, you're not there.
She's gone. Right? Here's a guy who woke up on the bathroom floor, and he was yelling and screaming for the people outside the bathroom to turn off the light. He's trying to sleep. No one was listening. I went outside the bathroom and realized it was sunlight that was coming in. Everyone else had passed out. I'd slept the entire night with my face next to the toilet. Turn off the light. It's not the light, it's the sun.
Love that Danhausen Jesus woke up still drunk under a flipped-over canoe with a picnic table on top of that. She said she had no idea how or why she got there, but the drugs might have had something to do with it.
Someone did that to you, too.
Sure, we've all played that game where you, where you stack up as much as you can on top of the passed out person. And when they move, of course, it's an avalanche, literally and figuratively, an avalanche of items and an avalanche of laughs. Woke up in a city-owned dump truck. Oh. Well, we've heard of people getting killed that way.
Yeah.
That ain't good.
They get smashed up when they run that smasher on the...
Skitter Jesus woke up on the roof of a tavern.
Oh, my God.
I'd like to hear that story.
I slept on my roof once. Lived in an apartment with no air conditioning.
So did I.
I just went on the balcony. We lived on the top floor. It's only like a 3-story building. It's not like I was doing anything too death-defying. But, yeah, just stood up on the balcony on the chair, got up on the roof, and just said, I'm going to sleep here tonight.
Same here. When I was a kid, no air conditioning in the house, brutal hot summer night. I took my pillow and my blanket outside the house. We had a separate garage. How do you say it? What's the fancy?
Detached.
We had a detached garage. I climbed a ladder to the top of the garage roof, and I slept on the friggin' roof because the temperature was tolerable out there.
It was kind of peaceful.
Here's a guy. Yes, Josh.
This person woke up in his friend's neighbor's house, one house over, after a night of too many tequila shots, woke up in a recliner with a blanket up over my head, When I removed the blanket, I found myself in the middle of a birthday party for a 7-year-old girl. He said, luckily, he did know the owner of the house, so they were forgiving.
That's crazy.
Oh, I did wake up on a couch once.
I've been there.
I made a friend.
Drunk and sober. I have woken up on it. Yes.
Woke up on the couch at her place. Unbeknownst to me, she had taken off and went to work. So I'm just laying there on the couch, and I hear people come in, and it was her roommate's boyfriend, and her parents who had just got back from grocery shopping. And there's a random guy just in his boxers on their couch. Hi, everybody.
I'm a sleeper inner. I am, especially if you put some beer in my belly. Mm-hmm. And I've always told people, just please punch me in the mouth, because if you leave, if you don't bother me, I will remain sleeping.
Yeah.
Until, okay, we're talking about the weirdest place you've woken up after a night of drinking. Woke up in my neighbor's yard, butt-ass naked. And he was poking me with a stick and telling me that I should head home before his kids wake up. A listener of ours from the Iron Range ran away from home to go to the Ozfest concert in 1998. I bet we were at that concert, Josh.
I bet we were.
Because we had to work those Ozfest concerts a lot. I remember once Twisted Sister made an appearance at Ozfest. Of course, Ozzy. This is very dramatic. Ran away from home to go to Ozfest 98, all the way from the Iron Range. There were drinks at the show. There was marijuana, cigarettes, and mushrooms. Woke up in a car downtown Stillwater, cops knocking on the window.
This guy woke up in the bed of a truck at a random house 30 miles from the house party.
30 miles.
30 miles.
That's a poke.
Did you come up with one of your own yet, Janelle?
Well, I can't think of anything where I woke up, in a strange place. The one thing that comes to mind, this isn't really applicable, but we used to sneak out at one of my friends' homes. And I still feel bad talking about it because I love her parents so much. But she had a 2-story house. We used to go get a ladder, put it up against the house, and then climb down and then go do whatever we were going to do. And
How old are you at this point?
Oh, 15.
Ooh,
maybe
okay.
like 9th, 10th grade.
Yeah, you're starting to raise hell.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And I just remember staying out, 2, 3 in the morning. We had no business doing that. And coming back and the ladder was gone.
Oh, dude. Yeah. Yep. I've had something like that happen.
Oh, God, the worst feeling because I love her parents and you knew what was coming.
Mm-hmm. They were pretty pissed off?
Not as much as they should have been.
Okay.
They were too nice about it, but it was more that feeling, when you're going to disappoint someone.
Absolutely.
Then that's worse than them being angry.
Yeah.
It was like that.
No, I hear you.
I would sneak out of the downstairs window at my parents' house. And my
window
dad
well?
My dad, no. It was
Not
just,
a window well?
Nope.
Okay.
And my dad would lock the window so that when I came home, I would have to ring the doorbell. Oh, God, I hated that.
Yeah. Mom locked me out once because she knew I was sneaking out the window well at night. And credit to my mom. I don't know if maybe you shouldn't give a parent credit for this, but she had given up on my brother and I at that point. So we really faced very little repercussions for that kind of behavior because she was just burned out on both of us being derelicts. But one night she must have been in a pissed off mood because she locked the window well window behind me after I snuck out. And I was telling you guys earlier, one of the top 3 answers for me, if you ask me the weirdest place I've woken up after a night of drinking, I snuck out that night. I got blind drunk, came back, hoping to slither my way back into the basement through the window. Well, it's locked, so I went into the garage. She locked the house, too, which they never did. We never locked the house, ever, back in those days. She locked the house, too. Luckily, the garage was unlocked, and I slept on my dad's 1974 Skidoo snowmobile, which even for a 17-year-old kid was not a comfortable way to go out for the night. How about a guy who woke up in a baby car seat next to a burning bonfire and a stranger cleaning a gun?
Oh, my God.
That's like a horror movie.
Yeah,
This person woke up at their buddy's house one morning. His boxers were soaked, but his shorts were completely dry. It was not pee. I have no idea what happened.
Oh, man.
What'd you get yourself into?
It wasn't pee.
Not pee.
What other possibilities are there?
Well,
Josh?
there's one I can think of, I guess.
Anyone wake up in the middle of a pasture surrounded by cows?
Never.
All right. That happened to up north metal mullet Jesus.
Not again.
Ooh. Scandal, Josh. One of our lady listeners woke up after a night of partying with a former member of the Timberwolves.
Oh, wow.
Dude. I know you probably don't want to say the name, but did they mention the name?
They do mention the name.
Oh, I wouldn't be mad about that.
Oh, yeah?
No.
That would be a badge of honor?
Yeah,
To wake up
absolutely.
next to a...
Well, I guess it depends who.
Well, I'll say this much. If I said the player's name out loud, most of us wouldn't remember the guy. I do remember the guy. You'd have to be a pretty hardcore Timberwolves fan to remember this player. But nonetheless, she woke up. I mean, it was glamorous, as you might imagine, waking up with a pro athlete. They woke up in a parking garage in downtown Minneapolis.
Ah, darn.
Romantic.
See, that would make me mad. I'd be like, I'm not even in his penthouse. I'm not going to get any breakfast.
She says, I wasn't even going to go out that night. Yeah, you'd picture yourself in a mansion, and the butler comes to the door and serves the two of you eggs Benedict, whatever.
Yeah, he has go bags for the girls.
Well, yeah, was that Derek Jeter?
Yeah.
The Derek Jeter gift bag.
Yep.
How about waking up in a grain truck after a street dance in a small town in North Dakota without any idea how you got there?
In a grain truck.
A street dance.
Yeah,
I'm mostly focused on that.
Hours before, I guarantee he's doing the boot scoot boogie and having a good time. Next thing you know, you wake up inhaling all the dust from a grain truck. Well, how about a porta potty on Rice Street in St. Paul?
Computer repair Jesus drank a pile of Yag bombs, started sleepwalking after passing out, tried to use the bathroom, pooped all over the toilet, and woke up in the bathtub, and his wife caught the whole thing on video.
I hate to break this to you, Josh.
Is that from a movie?
No, I read that about 5 minutes ago.
Oh, you did? I'm sorry. I'm trying to keep up with text.
I know how it goes.
Yeah.
I know how it goes. Boy, some of yous have had some good times. Naked in a snowbank.
Oh, that does not sound pleasant.
That's another female.
I guess maybe that's better. I think it might be worse if it's a dude.
Oh, because no shrinkage?
Yep.
Yeah.
Under a Ferris wheel.
Oh.
That would be terrifying. Oh, my gosh.
What would be so terrifying about that?
That because you would just see them, like, coming at you.
Oh, I see. The wheel.
It's going to clip you?
The Ferris wheel is still turning.
Yeah, I imagine it to be on.
I was picturing, like, after hours... And, carnies are lurking in the background.
Gosh, yeah, some clowns.
In a gated community, which I did not live in. Used pizza boxes for a pillow.
Been there.
In a bush, in a bank parking lot, in a dog bed at your mother's house. What did I say that caused you to say been there, Dana?
Pizza box.
Pizza boxes for a pillow. Mm-hmm. To this day, the most creative, drunken ingenuity I have seen in my life was when we were staying in a hotel in Wilmer, Minnesota. As you might imagine, we were pretty popular with the ladies down there. We were in a little motel in Wilmer, 1990. And 2 beds, 11 guys, all crammed in to party and crash in this one hotel room. Big Al had no place to sleep. And I think he was legitimate. He had paid for the room. But the sumbitch had no place to sleep. That's what sucks about being the last man standing, right? Everyone's taking all the decent places to sleep. He took a wooden chair, tipped it back against the wall, and used a basketball for a pillow.
It's impressive.
That's drunken ingenuity at its absolute effing finest.
Take some balance, too.
And I can still picture his little carcass tipped backwards with his adorable little red head. He's got that red hair, Josh. Have you seen?
I have seen it.
Basketball for a pillow. Like I said, some of you have really partied over the years.
KARE 11's Janel Klein.
This is the 93X Half-Assed Morning
Mardi
Show.
Gras! Woo! Nah, don't even bother. It doesn't really matter around here.
That was some very forced enthusiasm.
We're just being supportive of a friend.
Janel Klein's with us. She said, if it's Mardi Gras, we're going to talk about drinking and raising hell. So we have been discussing that a lot this morning. We talked about what's the weirdest place you've ever woken up after a night of partying. A lot of great stories. Thank you for texting in. You never let us down. This might be the most original one that I heard all morning, though. One listener says, there's no details here. They just say, I'm not kidding. I woke up in a fist fight.
How? How do people do that?
Woke up in a fist fight, Josh. That seems a little unfair to me.
Yeah, I'd want to go back to bed. That's a nightmare. This person woke up on a couch with about 6 or 7 preschool kids staring at him. Then I found out sometime the night before I broke my foot jumping off a roof.
Oh, no.
Jesus. I had a friend do that one night. We were he jumped out of the second floor of an apartment we lived in. It was middle of winter, and so when he landed, it got worse because he slipped and hurt his knee. Oh, no. He danced on it all night long. He had 4 surgeries to correct the damage he did that night.
Wow.
I'm feeling no pain, huh?
Damn you, Goldschlager.
Oh. That'll do it.
This person had a roommate in Fargo, went out partying one night, didn't make it back to the apartment, ended up calling the next morning from the middle of a field 20 miles outside of Fargo.
Son of a bee. There was one lady listener who texted in and said she woke up with a member of the Minnesota Timberwolves. And again, it was very romantic and very glamorous. They woke up together in a parking ramp in downtown Minneapolis. Now, some of you are guessing what former member of the Timberwolves it was. One listener says, was it Rasho Nesterovic? No, it was not Rasho.
That'd be a big car.
And then they said, oh, it had to have been Marko Jaric. No. I'll tell you someday. I'm not going to tell you right now, but I'll tell you someday. And the other one said it had to have been the Pecker. No, it was not Nikola Pekovic. I'll tell you. Just not right now. All right, we got to get going. You know what grabbed me earlier this morning, Josh?
What's that?
Did we run an ad for a Tom Green comedy show?
Yes.
That's really interesting to me. Tom Green.
There's a new documentary about him out on Amazon that's very good.
Is it good? I was looking to watch that.
Yeah, I mean, if you like the show back in the day, yeah, you'll enjoy kind of the behind the scenes and how he went from just a guy doing public access in Canada to being all over MTV. And just that fame was just kind of like a split-second thing. He went from a nobody to being mobbed everywhere he went.
I don't go out much, but I would take an interest in seeing his live comedy act. Do you know who we're talking about, Janelle?
I think only because was he married to Drew Barrymore?
Yeah. Oh, God, I forgot all about that.
Yeah.
Any guy who's good enough for Drew Barrymore must be a pimp deep down inside, because she is one of the most gorgeous, talented, funny ladies of all time. I'd do anything for Drew Barrymore. That's right. I forgot about that. He had that friggin' show. What was that, mid-'90s, late 90s on MTV? Mm-hmm. My damn. I mean, it was, at the time, you couldn't believe what you were watching on television. Were you a fan, Josh?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Remember when he made the lesbian mobile for his parents and they didn't think it was funny at all?
Yes, I do.
Oh, and his parents are in the documentary, too. It's fun hearing their perspective on things.
And the way he played it, Tom Green's like, well, I thought you loved lesbians. His dad, I mean, I felt bad for his dad. You could tell he was mortified. I got to drive to work.
Was that real? I mean, it doesn't even matter. I mean, yes, it's funny that is the one episode that I remember where his parents went out of town and he created for them a lesbian mobile. Well, he took their car and put porno all painted. Anyway, and then I saw him, in years, into the 2000s where he seemed troubled. He seemed off, kind of maybe devastated by his rise and fall. So anyway, I hadn't thought about the guy in years, and we ran an ad for a stand-up comedy show, and I'm intrigued by this. I didn't hear any details, but I think maybe, Josh, you drive. We should go see the show.
I'd like to see it. I've never seen him do stand-up before, just a show. God. And Dana, a few people are agreeing with you that the documentary is worth a watch.
Yeah, it definitely is.
All right.
Yeah, he could be a funny dude. His bits were very, very good.
The documentary reminded me of one of my favorite ones where he was the pizza undercutter. So he would wait by a house, and then they would have a pizza delivered. And then he would go up with a cheese pizza and a tackle box full of toppings and offer to sell those people pizza for cheaper than the delivery one that they just got. Oh, they're charging $12 here. You got pepperonis on there? I'll give you $8 for this pizza. And he's just putting pepperonis on a cooked cheese pizza.
Did they show some of the bits in the documentary?
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Mm-hmm. Although I didn't like Freddie Got Fingered.
Oh, that one's tough.
Yeah, the scene on the side of the road with the roadkill, that's when I turned that off.
Nobody saw Freddie Got Fingered. What made you go see Freddie Got Fingered?
Well, I liked Tom Green. That's the right movie, isn't it?
Yeah. I remember you mentioning that you were down with Freddie.
I turned it off after that scene.
We should have kept some of their swag around the building. You know how back in the day, when the movie would come out, we'd get all the T-shirts and the cups. I wish we would have kept one Freddie Got Fingered tank top or whatever.
Those lasted a while, believe it or not. People weren't super pumped to take that.
Just so people. I mean, for the longest time, it shrunk up on me. But for the longest, I had to throw it away. I had a, of course, sleeveless T-shirt commemorating the movie Dude, Where's My Car?
Oh, yeah?
And I would wear it around, and people would say, how could you be such a fan to where you're still wearing the T-shirt? Oh, God. Janelle, we got to get the hell out of here.
All right.
Thank you again for helping us through our day.
Oh, thanks, you guys.
Yeah, good seeing you.
Good to see you guys.
Best of luck to Custom Applicator Jesus and the new guy testing for their Wisconsin commercial pesticide applicators license today. Happy birthday to Todd Dizzle, and congratulations to Jordan and Maddie on the arrival of their baby girl. That's from Condoms Prevent Minivans Jesus. Happy birthday to Carter, turning the big 07 from Mom and Dad. Like a stack of dimes, Jesus. Text in a happy birthday wish to Braden. Happy 44th to 3 daughters, 1 son, Jesus. Happy 16th to Isabel from Superior Mechanical Plumbing, Jesus. Happy birthday to the beautiful Nikki from your husband. And once again, happy birthday to my nephew, Don, turning 14 today.
Don!
Hey, you beautiful podcast listeners. Seriously, you folks are the best. We don't tell you that enough, but you are. And we couldn't do this without you, and we couldn't have a podcast if it weren't for our friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Right now, you can save up to $7,500 on a mini-split ductless system or a high-efficiency heat pump combo with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. I know those are some fancy terms, but what it really means is they're going to make sure you're comfortable in your own house. And get this, they even take care of that rebate paperwork for you. Visit standardheating.com to lock in your deal and enjoy the show. And seriously, you guys are the best.